Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of art. It's the Tenant Podcast. I'm Todd Pearson, coming to you from the 40 West Arts District here in Lakewood, Colorado, and joining me from his home base of Rapid City, South Dakota, two-time World Championship shovel racing runner-up, co-host extraordinaire. You know him as quite possibly the most interesting man in the world, my partner and friend, Wes Brown.
Oh my God, Todd, it's another week and we're going weekly. I'm so excited. And yes, I am the two-time world champion shovel racer. And I span the globe shovel racing too, just so you know.
So I had to dig deep, man. I thought new year, I'm going to get back at it because I know that
our listeners want it.
Well, yeah. And winter is officially here in, the Northern Hemisphere. And I'm thinking to myself, there's got to be more out there of Wes Brown's fantastical feats. And so I jumped on the internet, consulted Lord Google, poked around the interwebs, and lo and behold, there it was. It was I was like, really? I had no idea. But again, not surprising with all the other fantastic things that you've done in your life that you were shovel racing.
That's right. And I which is really funny because we got a lot of snow a couple weeks ago and I broke out Andy the Aim shovel. And so I kind of reminisce. I went down, I have a short driveway, but it has a nice little steep slope. And so I gave it a quick ride. And so just so you know, I'm a big proponent of the Ames brand, the 24.5 inch snow shovel. We also use it back in the day for grain. And I think that's why I was able to get a lot of speed is because I used to shovel a lot of grain, oats and barley and stuff. And so it kind of made that little slick. I think it had some weed under the bottom and it would make it a little slippery and poof, boy, I would fly.
And waxing, the shovel, you wax your shovel.
Well, first I wax because you got, I'm always worried about, about being aerodynamic, right? Or aerodynamics. I'm always thinking about that, right? So I do wax myself first, and then I put my snowshoes outfit on, and then I wax my shovel, and then to top it off, I put a little bit of that ground up wheat on the top. That's the secret sauce right there, that little wheat, and that grain just makes it just floats right on top of the snow.
I like that, man. Yeah. So it's like there's like a what do they call that? The
little chafe.
Chafe. Yeah. That's what
stuff
you're utilizing.
You see flying out the end of a combine when you're combining wheat. Yeah, I just gather that up in the autumn, and then I used to. I'm not an active. I've retired since then, but I would just rub just because I knew that was kind of the secret sauce from doing it when I was a kid back in the 70s, when they first started really doing this snow shovel racing. So. Anyway, that was my secret.
You're not an active chafer anymore.
I'm not an active chafer. I chafe a lot of people, but I'm not an active chafer.
My next question was is it metal shovel or plastic?
It is. Yep. It's an aluminum shovel.
Okay.
It is. Yep. And a lot of farmers use them for grain, shoveling out grain, right? And so it gets this nice little film on top, and then when you're a professional, then you wax it, and then like I said, I just put that little chafe over the top of the wax, and boy, we would fly. Andy the Ames shovel, speed racer kind of thing. Yep.
And you competed 2 years at the Angel Fire ski resort there in New Mexico.
In New Mexico, yeah.
First year that you did it professionally was 1991. And you lost to David Shovelhead Gonzalez.
Yeah.
And he was clocked doing 63 miles per hour. And you did 61 miles per hour.
We were hauling. Yeah.
That's a lot. Dave, that's fast on a shovel.
Yeah. Dave.
Here's a mom question. Are you wearing a helmet?
Yeah. I mean, we have a helmet. I kind of wore like the little bicycle helmet. Some people have like the full like snowmobile helmet. I was like, nope, I'm going light. I'm all like weighing my clothes, making sure I'm light and just flying down the hill. Yep. So, but yeah, Dave, wow. he was crazy. I always kind of looked up to him.
And that was the year that you actually, at the tail end there, gave yourself a concussion, right? You like went,
Oh yeah, I went belly off the edge, and I think I smacked somebody, or it was a tree, one or the other. But I hit something with my light. Maybe if I would have had the full head, motorcycle helmet, kind of ski racing helmet, I would have been fine. But no, I had the, little bicycle helmet with the, the grooves at the top so the air could go through, made them a little bit more aerodynamic. But yeah, I kind of clocked myself pretty good. I was rung up for a few weeks.
And then you went back 2 years later in 93 and you lost to Peter Snow Breather Penrose. And that year you did 65 miles per hour.
Yeah, we were flying. Yes, Snow Breather. That was a funny story because, he would biff it and then he would jump up and he would be breathing snow coming out of his mouth, right? And so we call him Snow Breather. So
snow coming out his nostrils and stuff.
Everything. Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Every orifice.
Every orifice.
That sounds painful.
Just a
like a weird brain freeze or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's totally what it would be, right?
Yeah.
I would think so. Snow coming out. It wouldn't even turn to water. That's crazy.
Oh man.
Oh my God.
Well, you never cease to amaze me, Wes Brown.
Oh, thanks. It's exciting stuff. Yeah.
And you shouldn't make it so hard for me to find this stuff, but
okay. Yeah. Well, I try to hide some of this because,
I'm on a mission this year, 2023. Like,
all right. There's a few more out there. I'm sure you can find some.
Just another one that I get to tick off the list between the wife carrying and the death diving.
Ukraine badminton
team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are the most interesting man in the world.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that, Maeve.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Totally.
Before we get to the art, a quick reminder, you can always find out what we're up to via our social media on Instagram at Tenet Podcast, on our Tenet Facebook page, and of course our website, tenetpodcast.com. Our guest this week is once again part of the Coors Western Art Exhibit and Sale. That was her lovely voice that you have heard. She creates three-dimensional collages and sculptures out of plexiglass that are absolutely mind-blowing. You can check out her work at her website, maeveeichelberger.com. That's maeveeichelberger.com. And you can find her on Instagram at Maeve Eichelberger Studio. Maeve, how you doing?
Great. I hope everybody can spell.
You know what?
I mean, can you imagine as a kindergartner trying to do that? It was wild. Wild.
I bet. And how many times did people mispronounce your name?
All the time. Still to this day. But it's okay. I don't mind. I give them the grace, But my name is common now. It's popped up on so many TV shows. Have you noticed that?
No way.
So
really?
many different characters. Yeah, like now I can't remember any of them. Perfect, awesome. But there's so many, and there's like main characters. Their names are Maeve. So there you go.
Oh, the Maeve part, not the Eichelberger.
Oh, not the Eichelberger. No.
Oh, okay.
One of a kind on that one.
I was going to look up Eichelberger.
No.
Maeve.
It's a great name.
Just a name. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if I was ever to write a book, that might be one of my names that I would consider for a character, Maeve. That's a great name.
Nice. Yeah. It's a, historical name. She was a legendary queen of Ireland. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty, I think a little, feisty, stubborn. I've got all of those characteristics. Good. Overall, strong personality.
I just Googled it, right? And I'm going to tell you, and I can cut this out, but I'm going to tell you what it came up with. 5 reasons. Uh-oh. 5 reasons Maeve is the best sex education character.
Oh yeah, sex education. That's the one. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What?
Yeah, it's
that's
a show.
That's a TV show.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
I was
the
like,
show.
where are you going with this, Wes Brown? Like, this is gonna get. She's gonna just.
Oh, Westworld. You remember Westworld? That
Yeah.
like
The movie or
Yeah.
the original or the new one?
oh no, the new like series. I think it's like a series, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. On
Is
HBO
it
Max.
Is it Kerry Washington? No, it's not Kerry Washington. Ah, shoot. I'm so bad at this. But anyways, another character in there. Her name is Maeve.
Okay. And then was there a
Mhm.
character in Lady Macbeth? That's weird.
I don't
But this
know.
is an anime thing. So I don't know. Let's
Oh.
see.
Maybe.
Maeve quotes in Lady Macbeth.
I feel like there's another Maeve recently. I don't know. Well,
then
I am
here's-
the only Maeve Eichelberger.
I bet you are. Although I'm going to check the Berlin phone book when we're done here and see how many Maeve
Okay.
Eichelbergers there are. So Eichelberger is a good German name.
Yeah, it actually originates from like the Alsace-Lorraine area. So it's a little bit of the French-German,
Oh, there you go.
region.
And
Mhm.
Maeve has got to be a French name, right? You said French?
Maeve is Irish.
Irish. That's right. You said Irish. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
No, it's all good.
Yeah.
Irish, yeah. hmm So it's a cool class of
Oh, lovely.
names.
Yeah, it's a beautiful name. I like it.
Thank you. Well, I'll take my parents. They're the ones who came up with that one.
So
So, so when you
Yeah.
went on family vacations, was it hard for you to find those trinkets that have like your name on it because of?
What a good question. Yes, my name was never there. So I always went with my middle name, which is Margaret. Margaret
Ah.
is way easier to find. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just I had to get something in there, so, but my initials are ME. So me, that was cool.
That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Both of my children have kind of unique names and spellings, and that was always a thing. Like we go on vacation, there's no Kyra or there's no Zane.
Right. And super
So-
annoying. You have to
Yeah, it's disappointing, right? When you're a kid,
feel like you're left out. You're like, why is my name ever there?
Right. So my daughter's name is Ambrosia, so that's never there. Her daughter's name is
Right.
Persephone, and then her other daughter's name is Seraphina. So yeah, you're not going to
Whoa.
Disney World and find their names anywhere.
No. But maybe in Athens or something.
Yeah, go to Greece. That'd be a good reason. Grandpa, we need to go to Greece so we can find our names on a license plate.
Exactly.
Good.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
My other granddaughter's Nora. I don't want to, and my grandson is Elijah. So those are a little easier to find, but yeah, Nora
Yeah,
with an H.
that's good.
Yeah. So
At least they get lucky on family vacations.
we got all these Greek names and none of us are Greek. I mean, English and Irish, but we have Greek names. Love it.
I like the Greek names.
Yeah.
They're strong names.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about art now that
And
we've
our
talked about
listeners are
names.
like,
What the hell is going on here?
Is this not an
That
art
felt
show?
like a really good scene from Dazed and Confused. Yeah. 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 Nothing else to say. Yeah.
That's awesome.
As I mentioned in the intro, you're once again part of the Coors Western Art Exhibit and Sale. And you've been attending those events this week, or I assume that you did. How many years have you been in the Coors show?
This will be my 9th year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You-
Pretty
you started-
wild.
I know, right? Like
Yeah.
you were like 12 when you got in.
Definitely not 12, but I was in my 20s. I'm now 35. I don't want to do the math, so we'll just subtract from there. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's really
26.
spectacular.
Yeah.
9 years. It's been amazing. I always Rose Frederick, who's a good friend of you guys, and she's amazing. She's the one that took a chance on me, and has kind of just been that awesome Kickstarter for my career, especially in this art, the Western world. So yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how that all came about. Like how because there's people. We just talked to Jill Sokup, and she had applied for 7 years in a row, and she was about ready to to call it a day.
Yeah.
And Rose reached out and said, hey, I like your stuff. I want to include it. So, I mean, how did it come about for you?
Yeah. I applied as well. And I think it was the first year I applied though. Yeah, it was the first year I had applied, but I'd been going to the Coors Western Art Show for years. I mean, since I was a little girl, I was just part of our, go to rodeo and stock show. And so I always went to the show, which is kind of funny to think like all of the years that I was around those things. And I did say when I was like, probably 10, like I would love to be in this show someday. And then, I didn't apply for a long time because I didn't have a body of work and I hadn't found my like niche of what I like loved yet, and I hadn't been really working in plexiglass. And then I applied and I didn't get like an email or anything. Rose called me and she was like, yeah, so your work is interesting. like, I don't really know how to like, what to say. Like, can I like see this in person? Like, I think we should like have you in like the club, like as a young gun, like on the club level. I want to include you, but like, what are you doing? Which is funny because my artwork is really hard to photograph and understand on a digital level, unless you see it in person. And even if you're doing a video, it's still like, oh, weird. Okay. You're trying to understand those layers and dimensions, but sometimes it's hard to register. So, but she took a chance on me and I applied. So yeah.
Yeah. Your work, from a photographic standpoint, as a photographer, it looks, to do it justice, it would be, pretty challenging, I think, and, seeing it in person is a whole different experience than, seeing it on your website.
Yeah, totally. And I think, that's one area that I definitely need to like, I don't know, just experiment more with is just, photographing and lighting. And you're just constantly dealing with all of these challenges of like reflection, right? Like some of the pieces of Plex are like shiny on the outside, so they reflect. But I just did a set of like herons recently in like a frosted plexiglass, and those work out really well to photograph because you're not dealing with the reflection aspect. So there are elements all the way around that you're kind of dealing with,
So do you have a professional shoot it, or have you been exploring it yourself?
I've been exploring it myself, but honestly, I think I'm ready for professional.
And not to say you're not a professional. I'm sorry, that kind of ensued.
No, I'm not. I'm totally not. So I use photography as part of my media, right? I mean, I print my photographs that I take onto the acrylic, and then heat and bend and all those things, or create dimensional collages. But I do not consider myself like a professional photographer by any means. It's just a tool for me. So no, like, that's a whole other profession of just like shooting artwork for people, I think, and I come along and people are like, I don't know if I want that challenge. Really?
Yeah, it would be. Yeah. Cause it's so, there's so many layers and it's 3-dimensional in some cases, that, it would be a challenge to photograph. That's for sure.
Yeah. It's good though.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
you get lucky sometimes.
Oh, well, I mean, I see nothing wrong with the photography you have on your website. It's just like as photographers, we know like you'd have to wrap your head around it and practice a lot because just to get the lights right and just being subtle about it. Yeah.
And it's also just, for people to fully understand that it's sculpture or that it does have all of these layers. Like, how do you do that? Like on a 2-dimensional plane? Mind blowing. I don't know. It's kind of weird. So I'm just, experimenting. And if anybody listening has ideas or, I'm always up to hear what everybody has out there because it takes a village.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's true. But I will say this, I have never seen work like yours before. It is so unique. And that's why it's mind blowing. Not only is it so beautiful, but in doing this podcast, one of the things I love is hearing how people come into whatever they're doing, with the process and the idea, the catalyst that sparked that idea. I just think it's incredibly intriguing in how people's brains work and how they process stuff, right?
Yeah, totally. Well, thank you for that compliment.
Do you have any pieces down in Scottsdale, Arizona?
I don't, but I have pieces in Tucson at Mark Sublet's Medicine Man Gallery.
Okay.
And but not in Scottsdale.
Yeah, the reason I say that, there's only been one other piece that's similar to yours, and it was completely different. It was a layered dandelion, the white puff dandelions, and every layer was like a different part of it. So it was
cool.
three-dimensional, but it was just square, and it was probably, I don't know, let's say 10 inches high and 6 inches wide. And it had probably 7 or 8 different layers of photographs, black and white photographs, and you could see through it, obviously. So it was really kind of cool, but yours is like taking that on steroids. Yours is way, way more like intricate and complicated and just very, very cool. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. It is.
Todd,
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, Todd and I seen your stuff, last year and the year before. Mm-hmm. We were just like amazed because it was the saddles, what I remember. And it was just like, this is crazy. Who comes up with this? And then how do you execute it? So I'm so glad that you're on the podcast tonight.
Yeah, who does come up with that? Oy.
It's brilliant.
So since we're talking about this, I want you to take a moment. I described it very generally, and what we've been talking about is, people kind of will try to wrap their head around it, but they really need to go to your website. But will you take a moment and kind of describe what you do, how you do it a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. So I guess I might start a little bit towards the beginning, and I think I was doing my master's in Miami, Florida, and I was, basically when you're doing your master's in fine arts, you have to produce a lot of work constantly. I think I had 3 studio classes, and in each class I had to produce like 3 paintings. So I went to school for painting, and then a concentration in photography. But anyways, I was producing like 6 to 9 paintings a week. And I was just like, oh my gosh, what do I want to do? This is crazy. So I started photographing the clouds, the sky out of my window. I lived on the beach, and so I've always been in love with the clouds, but started photographing the sky, and then adhering those clouds, printing them, adhering them to canvases, and then painting with them. And then I got bored. I was like, I want more out of this sky. I want dimensions. I was like, what can I do to create a dimensional collage? So it really was just like trial and error. So I was like, found some plexiglass one day, and I was like, this is cool. This is clear. This gives me durability. It gives me structure, but it's transparent, so I can create those layers. And yeah, so it was really during my master's that I started playing with plexiglass. And then, you're constantly critiqued on things like, is this archival enough? What are you going to do with this hardware? Which is perfect. That's exactly what you need, is people to say like, well, what about this? Or what about that? I mean, it gets annoying sometimes, but it's a good question, right? Like archivalness? Absolutely. So, lucky for me, technology has, escalated in the last, 15 years. And I started printing directly to the acrylic. So just printing my photographs instead of on paper, just directly to the acrylic, which gave me even more transparency because you weren't dealing with the opacity of the paper anymore. You're really just dealing with like the image. The only difference is that you're not printing white ink. So anything that would register as white on paper registers as clear. So it becomes this kind of ethereal presentation of an image, which I like, but sometimes you want a little bit of opacity, So I just wanted to give a little backstory on how that started. So yeah, let's see. Then in the studio, just constantly pushing myself to like, oh, what could I do next? How do I want to lay out these images, that type of thing. And had left a piece of plexiglass, like, I don't know, in the sun or something, and it started to warp. And I was like, oh, wait, you can bend plexiglass? Like, I didn't know. So I grabbed a heat gun and started like twisting and turning it and playing with it. And I was like, cool. All right. So I can definitely make something out of this. I had no idea how I would, engineer it together or anything. I mean, I think half the job of an artist is to problem solve. You have a vision and it's like, how do I put this together now? Like, how am I going to make this work? So anyways, then, I started doing saddles because I grew up on a ranch in southern Colorado, in Larkspur, and rode horses, and my dad collected saddles. And so I went to the tack room, I was down in the tack room one day and saw this saddle, and I was like, whoa, what a weird looking shape, object, like thing, besides its uses. I mean, when you look at a saddle, it's totally funky, it's kind of like an odd jellyfish creature, out of leather. So I was like, what if I made a saddle? And I was using imagery from the West, like from my home on the ranch and the horses and the peacocks, photographing all of those things. And then I just got into wanting to heat and bend. And so I just chose the saddle as that subject matter. Boom.
I think
that's how it went.
I think that is absolutely brilliant and crazy at the same time, right?
Totally.
Because, like you said, it's an odd looking object. Saddles there's a lot to them. I've done a little bit of riding horses and been around horses and all the accoutrements, and saddle making in itself is an art form. So to take something that is made out of leather that is somewhat pliable, I guess they have their own techniques, leather working, and then taking it to some other kind of material, plexiglass, that seems insane.
I know. I guess I really like a challenge, Todd, or something. I don't know. Yeah, it is. It's crazy. I think once I knew that I could bend plexi, I was like, well, this is cool because now I'm just manipulating material and I'm fooling the audience and myself, right? I'm creating an illusion almost of, is this glass? Is supposed to be leather? Is it actually fabric? But it's not, right? But then I can throw in photography and add nostalgia, and I can add color and texture. It's so much fun. I really love what I do, because there's endless ideas with it. But it is wild. It definitely is wild. And I did tack and stuff too. So halters, bridles, and bozels, and chaps. And chaps are really fun to do. Those are the hardest though, for sure, because it's so much material. It's not just like bits and pieces of a saddle, right? It's like patterning any kind of like article of clothing. Same for a saddle, right? You have these different pieces and then you hook them together. In my case, I drill holes and hook them together, whereas, a saddle maker would sew something. So it's very similar, I am working in a type of patterning.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So did you get a lot of pushback when you started? Like people like, you can't do this. This isn't, did you get much pushback, or did people just love what you were doing?
That's a great question, Wes. And I didn't really get pushback. No one ever said to me, you can't do this, because I never told anybody and I just did it and just like showed up with it one day and was like, okay, this is what I did. What do you think? People are like, cool. Like, what do you say? I never showed anybody, now it's a little bit different with social media. I'm constantly like showing a little bit of process, and I like to leave a little bit of like mystery behind it. I don't want to share everything all the time, right? Because there is an element of surprise. And to be quite honest, I think I had told Rose years ago, I was like, I'm going to try a pair of cowboy boots or saddlebags, something, which are really challenging, by the way, which I'm not done with. I will tackle it again at some point, but I don't know. I hadn't figured it out yet. And if I haven't figured it out and then people are waiting for it and it doesn't work, then you're like, oh, darn it, you know? So, I want a little element of mystery in there too. You know, I think people kind of look forward to like, geez, what's Maeve going to come up with this year? Because I did neon or fluorescent and people are like, whoa, okay. You know?
Yeah. I love it. I love that. I love that you like saw something that was so unique and just went for it and did it. I think that's great.
Yeah. Well,
I love that moment of, you know, the happy accident where your brain, you know, you leave this piece of plexi out in the sun and it gets heated up and then you realize, holy crap, like I didn't know Plex could do that, or what can I do with this? And and then and then your brain is just going, you know, what can I do? The sky's the limit, you know, and having that vision and the desire to see, to push it where you have.
Yeah. And I think it's not like a desire to, I guess I do like to challenge myself. Like, well, what could you come up with? But I think it's also just so much more, it's fun for me because I'm like, okay, you could, the sky is the limit. Literally, I could choose anything I want now and just go for it. Yeah. So I do it for fun as well. Not just like, not just for everybody else, but I still do it for me, you know, which I think is important.
That is important. I think that's part of that's what makes great art, you know?
Yeah.
Have you always felt compelled to make things? Did you always have that?
That's a great question. I think I've always been doing things. I think I've always been doing things. And that could just be drawing. You know, I've always wanted to draw something or replicate or create something. So before I found plexiglass, I worked in resin a lot. So I would draw botanical images and, you know, anything. And then I would create layers of like my painting, then my drawings, then other things. And that was like the beginning of the dimensions. So I guess, yeah, Todd, to answer your question, I think I always kind of wanted to build things. Now I'm just like, I'm hooked on it. Now I just like strive to do things. And I'm trying to work in fabric now as well, just to see what I can do with a saddle form and with fabric and all these other things too. So there's a lot of ideas. I'm just going to keep running with it and see what happens.
And it looks like you've done some stuff in like, and maybe I'm wrong, but looks like stainless steel. Is that right? Or is it just have the appearance of stainless steel? There's a saddle.
No, that's the appearance. Yeah, that's really? mirrored plexiglass.
Oh, it's so cool because it looks metallic. I mean, on the image, and I'm sure it does in real life, but
yeah, totally. It's just mirrored plexi. And the cool thing about the mirrored plexi is when you heat it, it does warp a little bit. And so you get this kind of like funhouse look, you know, like where you're like a little skewed and warped, and you might get some like frosted areas because it's basically on the underside of the plexi that is like silvered, you know. So it does change with that heat, which has been really, really fun to see. You know, I always imagined the first mirrored saddle that I did, I was like, and I thought maybe someone who would want this would put like a little mini saddle and put it at their like front credenza at their house, and they would put their lipstick on in it, you know, because they could see the mirror, and like it would be like the perfect like sculptural mirror to put, like a funhouse mirror to put your lipstick on in, you know.
That's amazing.
Totally crazy.
It is really. I don't know what the name of the piece is, but it is an amazing looking piece. You know,
where are you looking at, Wes Brown?
What's that? It's
where are you at?
Her Instagram. It's a video actually.
Does it have the orange?
And it has fabric underneath it, I think. It's a saddle and it's metallic looking. Then it has some lace and it's sitting on top of lace.
Oh, right.
And yeah, the lace. I don't know. Fabric.
I know. So that I was going to, that's funny. I forgot I put that on there. That lace is super pretty. And I was starting to do, well, I'm not even going to tell you. There's a mystery behind that.
Yeah, no, that's
about
fine.
That fabric. But Yeah, that was going to go into the Coors show. That was the original piece with the fabric, and then I switched it out and I did fluorescence instead this year. But I'm telling you, the fabric in combination with this rigid material and also an elegant kind of material in a way has a nice juxtaposition.
Yeah.
So yeah,
well, it has visual texture, right? As opposed to the smoothness of the plexiglass, and the fact that it's translucent in itself. So it has multi layers to it with the mirrored saddle on top. It really looks amazing.
Yeah.
I thought that was stainless steel, and I thought you were incorporating metal in with your other art. So that's so cool. No, I love it.
No, thank you for that interpretation too. Cause that's great. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the contrast of the materials being used in that piece. It is stunning. Good eyes, Wes Brown.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For people that are out there listening to this, if you scroll down on Maeve's Instagram, you go down about 9 rows, and you'll find it. You'll see what we're talking about. It's a video piece. So yeah, beautiful.
Cool.
Would you describe yourself as fearless?
I think so. Funny to call myself fearless when like this girl definitely has the fear sometimes, little bits of anxiety and stress and all of those things. But I guess when it comes to my work, I've become way more fearless. Maybe that's where I'm able to release a lot of that, which is super cool. Yeah. Recently, I just moved into a new space, and it's a live workspace. So I'm making my studio pretty much the entirety of it, besides my bed. And I'm so excited to be able to like wake up on those nights that you can't sleep at all and just like come in here and like make something instead of driving anywhere. Like I can't wait for that. So we'll see what happens. It's going to help even more with that fearlessness, I think.
Do you have a lot of those nights?
No time to waste. Sometimes, not recently. Hooray. I do like to sleep. I love sleeping. So, but if I do have, you have those times where you just wake up and you're like, oh, should have done that. Or wait, I have a cool idea. At least I could get up and just like try it out for a second and head back to bed. I don't really have a 9 to 5. So I feel pretty lucky on that front. So I don't really have to be up if I ended up being up all night long or something,
Do you
That's a great... go ahead.
No.
I was just going to say that's a great position to be in, where you're living where you work. And like you said, you don't have to jump in the car and drive. I've heard this from multiple artists. It's like they live somewhere and then their studio space is somewhere else. And so on one of those nights, or if you have that idea, then you got to jump in the car, and it's wintertime, right? So you got to warm up your car. You got to be cold for a little bit, and then you got to drive maybe, we live in the West, so you drive totally long distances. People back East don't think that we drive to the moon and back practically, but it's not unheard of to spend, even without traffic at, a late night, early morning or whatever, you very easily could spend 20 minutes to half an hour driving to where you need to go work, right?
Totally. Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. Like out here in the West, we drive a lot. And I really do drive a lot. I drive to Taos, New Mexico, where my family lives, quite often, and drove to Austin, Texas earlier this fall, then went to Tucson, like just driving, but also driving my work. But I think, it's not for everybody, right? To be living and working in your same space. Because before this, I had a studio in the 40 West Art District area. And there is something nice about having that socialization, and then getting out and being like, okay, I got to get out of the house by this time so I can have a full day in the studio, so there is that element. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge for me now because I don't have to be up at a certain time. I'm going to have to keep a different type of schedule for myself.
You just have to be a little bit more on purpose with it,
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Exactly.
So I was going to ask you, do you have multiple projects going on at one time? Because this seems like it's got to be a lot of work to put, especially these 3-dimensional saddle pieces or something similar. It's got to take a lot of time and I was just wondering, like, do you have multiple ones working at the same time or multiple things?
Yeah. I have kind of a rhythm. So if I had like a couple, like right now I have two like miniature saddles that I'm working on. Like one I'm etching. Well, that's kind of interesting actually. So one is just already cut out. I just have to bend it. One is needs to be etched still. So I'm in the process of doing the drawing. So on certain days, I'll just kind of go back and forth. Like I'm like, I just need to draw today, or I just need to etch today, and just kind of go through the grind of like the production. And then other days, I could probably try to start bending multiple pieces in that day, right? So even if I had 3 saddles ready to be bent, I have all my pieces out, right? And I'm going to work on stirrups this morning. And I could crush out like, I don't know, like 8 stirrups or something, you know, and then work on something else. So yeah, it depends. I think it just depends on my mood and how much energy I have for particular things, like bending the forks. And for those of you who don't know what, you know, a saddle really kind of looks like, the fork is the front part of the saddle where the horn is that sticks up in the front that you would hold on to as like an oh shit scenario. If you couldn't hold on to the reins, that's the thing you would grab. But those forks, man, they're like the bane of my existence. Like sometimes I am like, that is the hardest thing I do, trying to get those things symmetrical. And so those days I'm like, okay, it's just going to be 1 fork today, not 5, you know, that's all I can handle. It's the stress of 1. So it just depends.
So then the etching, and not to give her out any secrets or keep some mystery, but are you hand etching with like a Dremel, or how do you etch?
Yep, with a Dremel. Yeah, so part of like the first love of what I do is drawing, and so I love drawing. I don't know, flowers and patterns and all those types of things, like the tooling for those saddles. So yeah, so I draw first, just on tracing paper, and then I lay the plexiglass on top, and then I use a Dremel. Exactly. And just go to town. And it takes a while.
That's brilliant. That's awesome. I didn't think. Thank you for sharing that part of the process, because I didn't understand how you did that. I thought maybe it was all freehand with a Dremel. Do you do freehand stuff too?
I don't usually do freehand with the Dremel. I mean, I totally could. It's not like I couldn't, but I like having a little bit more of a plan. And especially, it's an interesting part about saddles is they are symmetrical. And with those tooling patterns, they also need to be symmetrical and on point too. So there is a little bit of structure that I like to follow with that. I could totally go freeform. I mean, the drawings are freeform from the beginning. It's just not the Dremel part, you know, because the Dremel can get wild. And if you're not in control of it, it could mess everything up. It could go
Making
rogue
these
on
saddles
you.
is like life, right? It gets wild sometimes and need some structure.
Like,
but
oh! Right. Like if my dog Penny decides to bark right when I'm in the middle of dremeling, and that like scares me, and I could like run across the saddles, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, well.
But you got some mad drawing skills. I mean, I've seen some of the, you know, the etchings on your pieces, and they're beautiful. Just beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. There's I love drawing. Yeah. And there's not one that's the same. So each of the saddles that I do is different to some degree, whether that's the style, the color, the photography, the drawing. But I have like rolls and rolls of drawings at this point that I need to start categorizing more, I think. Yeah.
So how many pieces do you think you make a year? Lot. Just tons, I suppose. That's probably not a fair question.
I mean, no, it's a great question. And for my goal this year is to organize all of those things and actually understand what I have done. And I don't know, but it's a lot. Because, you know, a lot of my work is, you know, it's for the galleries or a show, or it's for commissions. And so it's that constant balance of, and I can't remember. I mean, I can't even remember what day it is. So that's like trying to think about the number of saddles is like, whoa.
Right.
It's a lot though, Wes.
Right. No, I believe it. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
You've been doing this for a while. But there's some things that, I could see things going sideways pretty easy if you're not careful, or like you said, you touched on, something, startles you or what have you. How often does that happen where things get a little sketchy or?
Yeah, things break all the time. Or
Yeah.
Totally. It's so annoying, but I've learned.
You've resigned yourself to that?
Yeah, because I would call myself, and I don't want my students to hear this, but I am like the best procrastinator there is. And it's not a great thing, but like literally I'm pretty good at procrastinating, but I've learned a lesson, and that is to have extra pieces and backstock of things, because I've been in crunches before where I'm on a tight deadline and, okay, I'll just put this out together really fast. All right, we got this. Breaks. You're like, right. And then that's not up to me anymore, because I have to send it out to my supplier. It has to go to the printer. I have to recut everything. It's like, that's another extra 2 weeks. You don't want to be that person in the world causing, delays like that. So I have learned to have a little bit of a like backstock of things, especially those darn forks, horns and forks. But it does happen quite often. Like I understand the material now. I can just be standing there heating and not even feeling it, but just have like an intuition almost that it's ready. Or I can like kind of get a glance of like a tiny reflection on it, or I don't know, just like a feel now, and I can just start going at it, which is pretty cool. But things still break and smudge. I mean, one end of those, some of those printed saddles, there's photographs underneath, and if my glove gets too hot, it can totally smudge or pull that photograph away. So you have to deal with that too, and then you're reprinting. It's not just a cut; it's like all the things, and scratches, and because plexiglass is durable and stupidly delicate.
Yeah.
I mean, why did I choose plexi? Is what I wonder sometimes.
So, being a procrastinator, do you think it helps you?
Dude, we're supposed to leave that behind.
Oh, I mean, because sometimes people work under pressure really well.
I do work under pressure really well.
And I'm with you. I'm a big time as Todd can tell you. Do you got that podcast edited yet? But sometimes the pressure like helps push you, I think.
Absolutely. I would definitely say that I work well under pressure. And I think, but to note, I work better under production pressure than I do idea pressure. Like if someone was like, I don't know, for example, this last commission that I did, worked with these clients, huge pieces that we did for their home, but we were working together on designs since April. So we had a long period of time to constantly ideate, right? And not have to worry about, you have to have something in 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So procrastinating under production is way better for me. Like if I have the idea, if I have the materials, yeah, I'll go out and hang out with friends and then have to be in the studio the next day for sure. Like that's doable. But I don't do that. So students.
Yeah, if you're a student of Maeve's, that was all just made up.
Yeah.
Totally.
She would never do that. She's always on task.
Yeah, that was a figment of your imagination.
Get it done early,
something
people.
You dreamt.
Early. But I do get some things done early so that production can go quickly. That's the lesson there. Everyone.
There you go. So does ideas come easy to you? Like, especially, let's say, putting commission aside, because I think that's a little different animal, but your own personal stuff, is stuff percolating all the time? Is it the creation is always building more creation?
Yeah, all the time. Like this morning, even I woke up and I was like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Got up, wrote it down. Yeah. And I think I have right now, it's so funny that I chose the saddle. I have a million ways and ideas to go with it still. I mean, I can go across the world and design saddles based on different cultures even. You know what I mean? So this is like endless. This doesn't just have to be the American West, which I know and love. but why wouldn't I challenge myself to discover about more cultures and find out about the fabrics that they use and the embellishments and and that's just a saddle. Yeah, I have a lot to do.
Yeah, like the horn on a Mexican saddle is huge compared to the Western saddle, right?
Yeah, exactly. They're all different. Every single one, and they're used for different things. So I think, as I progress, I hope to educate other people as well, as like what these saddles were used for and how we can see them in a different light, not just as, just a mechanism for transportation. It's more than that. It really becomes a personal item for people. So
you're able to educate people in addition to creating this beautiful work of art.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I still, haven't even touched on anything yet. I feel like I'm like scraping the surface, but I still am playing. Like I have to play. It's a huge part of what I do in my mind is like having fun with it, having fun with the titles that I choose, the language, having fun with the materials, like the mirrored versus the fluorescent versus like the imagery that I can add to them. It doesn't have to be serious. So I can continue to play and experiment while I'm researching and educating too.
Yeah, the medium you picked is endless, like you said, because you can print different patterns, different images. Right. I mean, it's absolutely endless,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's
so
brilliant.
Exciting. So exciting.
So a question I wanted to ask you is, so do you source everything from local vendors? Or do you have to? Okay. I was just curious about that because, we live in a great, phenomenal age where a lot of things are available, but also as technology changes, some things go away or disappear or different businesses disappear. So I was curious whether you used all local people for some of this stuff or not.
Yeah. My acrylic supplier is Laird. They're just off of like 70 in Peoria. And then, and I've been using, from the get-go, from when I started working in Plexiglass, and then, Fine Line Signs and Graphics, which is off of like 70th or 70 and 48th, I think, or Pecos, something like that. I just named out way too many numbers, but it's like off of 70. Anyway.
It keeps it a mystery.
Jeez. Anyways, Fine Line's been doing my printing and my cutting on a CNC router. I use both a laser and a CNC. But they've been, I give them files and they're like, what are you doing now? It is so funny. They like know, I've been working with them for 12 plus years. It's crazy. They're like, Maeve. I'm like, yep, I'm back. Try this one this time, but they love to be, it's cool when you have you have a 4x8 sheet of plexiglass that has an image file, from Photoshop. And then I have same sheet, but it's in it's a routing file from Illustrator, and you lay them on top of one another. And then for the person who doesn't have the vision of me, I already know exactly how they're going to be put together, how the images are going to lay, how they're going to overlap one another. But for someone who doesn't know, they're probably like, this is a jumble of weirdness, like weird shapes, weird images that are all upside down and backwards, so it is pretty interesting because you have to work backwards because you're printing as well. So if I'm doing any kind of wording and text, it has to be reversed in my head too. So there is some like challenging things like that.
Yeah, I didn't even think about the digital aspect of it. So you're working in Photoshop and Illustrator. So you have those skills on top of, being, art in itself, drawing and everything.
Right. Self-taught, mind you. I definitely could easily take a class, but I've just like, I feel like I never had time. So it's just like, okay, figure it out. You got this. What are you going to do next? Yeah. Yeah.
That's what artists do, right? Like you said, at the beginning of this podcast, artists are, we troubleshoot things. So,
totally.
We
constantly
figure out
problem solving.
Yeah. Problem solving.
Yeah.
That's the
Just
fun
great.
part about it, right?
Yeah. Hopefully our brains will continue to keep going strong for a long time because we problem solve all the time. That's
I mean,
the goal.
the more I think about your process and looking at like the images on some of the images on the saddles and, you know, the chaps, I think that's a pair of chaps that I'm looking at. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's mind boggling.
Thank you. Thank you. I love it. I just love having fun with it. It's just fun to explore. And I'm absolutely elated that other people find it exciting too. I mean, that's like, is there anything better? Geez, awesome that we can all share in that together.
Yeah, that experience, that shared experience. I mean, that's what I feel when I see your work. I'm like, how does that even happen? Like, I can't even imagine. And that's what draws me to it. Cause I'm like, I'm not going to be doing that. I'll tell you that much right now. I think it's fascinating. But I'm not setting up shop in my studio and start messing with plexiglass.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. It's not the way my brain works. But I appreciate that you were able to do it. And you know what I see, the final piece, you know.
Right. I'm happy.
I had the opportunity, Wes hasn't seen it yet. He'll be here this weekend.
Nice.
But I got to preview the show this year, the Coors Western Art exhibit and sale, which is the first time I've ever done that.
What?
And, yeah, it's the first time I've ever experienced that. I'm always going, you know, ever since we started going, it's always at the stock show. And by that
during
time,
stock show. Okay.
Yeah, by that time, a lot of the work has gone. So, and I know Rose keeps back some of the, you know, pieces that she is really excited about so that people get to experience it still. But the work that you have in this show this year is just off the charts, for one. But I wanted to ask you, you know, how important has the Coors show been in your art career thus far?
Huge. So this is 9th year, and ninth year. And the first year was, I don't think it was even until the 3rd year that I actually did a saddle, an actual sculpture, like sculptural piece. Everything else has been up until then was 2-dimensional collage hangings, you know, wall hangings, which are also really, really fun, just different. But yeah, it was the first year. So of course I always attribute that to Rose for taking a chance on me. Absolutely. And then it's just word of mouth. It's just like snowballed from there. It's like someone was like, hey, you need to check Maeve's workout. And then I had a friend who was like, oh, we would like to have you do like a solo show in, you know, this office space. Great. So then it happened like that. And then people start buying your work, and then, you know, and it just kind of snowballed, and I've created, so many different types of works, but also amazing connections and bonds with people for over 9 years now. Just encouragement and support. So yeah, the Coors show definitely kickstarted this career. Absolutely. And now, because I'm a little bit more developed, I'm able to do different subject matters, and it doesn't have to necessarily just be Western anymore. It can be a little bit more than that too. So I'm able to explore more because people believe in me, which is amazing.
Right?
I feel so happy. Yeah. But yeah, the Coors show has been exceptional. Yeah. And if you go down to the Coors show, you're not going to see 2 of the saddles because they sold on Tuesday, which is great, but they're going away. So you won't get to see them in person, unfortunately.
I got to see those, and I was really hoping that at least one of them, Neon Desert.
Gone.
I was hoping that Wes was going to be able to check that out in person. Let's talk about those pieces real quick since we're on the subject. I'm going to bring this image up real quick here.
Maybe I bought it.
Oh.
I'm driving to South Dakota and kicking your ass because you do this to me all the time. You buy the piece that I want.
There you go.
Oh my God, yeah.
Those photographs aren't too bad. You're right. Those aren't bad.
Yeah.
I think sometimes people think that they're actual photographs of saddles, though. Do you know what I mean? Not just actual sculptures.
Yeah, like they can't wrap their heads around what they're
Yeah,
seeing
that it's
until they see it in
three-dimensional.
person, right?
Right. Totally.
But
Yeah.
this piece is just absolutely stunning. The Neon Desert
Mm.
is what it's entitled. And talk about this piece a bit. You got
Yeah, so this is actually inspired from another commission. I had a friend who is in the interior design sector, and she wanted to commission an English saddle based on the Arizona desert. And so I'd created, so I found, collected imagery that I'd had of the saguaros and cactus flowers and just the blue sky, just the combinations of colors and all of the things that you see in the desert in the Southwest, and put it to work on a Western saddle, and then got so excited about working in fluorescence this year. I mean, like literally, once I bought a sheet of fluorescent, I like lost my mind. I was so excited. I was like, everything in the world is amazing. It's like these colors are so bright, like you can't not be like excited for some reason. And not in like an overstimulating way, just like, how is this working? I mean, I think humans were so fascinated by light and shiny things. And this fluorescent plexi is literally grabbing onto ambient light and just like pushing it out through its edges. And so every edge that you see is just like automatically lit up from ambient light, no backlit, nothing. Anyways, I got really excited. So I love it. So I added these little touches of neon. And I was like, neon desert, baby, let's do this, and then everything else had to have some kind of fluorescence on it. But
I mean,
so, oh, go ahead, Wes.
Oh, I was just going to say, it's amazing. Yeah. It just adds a different element to it. What were you going to say, Todd?
I was going to say that you took the words out of my mouth. It's amazing. And this is what I love about being able to sit here and talk with an artist about their work. And it gives me a whole, I appreciate it for what I was seeing, but then you talking about the process and the thought behind it, and talking about how, these fluorescent plex, how it adds something, adds some contrast to it. It gives it line because those edges reflect and refract the light, right? And I never even thought about it that way, but because I'm just processing it at a very admittedly very topical perspective, right? And then you start talking about it, I'm like, oh my God, I totally see it now, and it's amazing. And from as from a photographic standpoint, thinking about light and thinking about contrast and thinking about all those things, it just gives me a whole other appreciation for it.
Right. And I think I'm so happy you brought up line and contrast and all of those things, because a lot of my work from the beginning, just even doing those, or doing the collage wall hanging pieces, has always been about the principles of design. It's always been about and the visual elements, right? It's been about line and contrast and shape and how we see things. How does light affect this? I teach my students that as well. A good composition has a lot of those things combined in it. So not only is this just an interesting shape, but how can I manipulate imagery? I mean, this is photograph, or photographic images printed on it. And so it's also my goal to have, to work in scale and proportion. So yeah, that rose is going to be scaled up, and those saguaros might be just scaled down so you can see them in full proportion. You know what I mean? So that balancing out different sizes, scales, and colors and shapes. Some things should be more opaque or less, or more in contrast, that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm thinking about all of those things while I'm printing and scaling images. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah. I should have brought this up even like this. Yeah. Crazy. Now it's really large.
It's amazing.
But you can really see the detail now. And
yeah.
I just can't get over it, Maeve. I really can't.
Oh, thanks. And like the neon or I shouldn't say neon because people are going to think it's actual like neon lights, the fluorescent. And it does look like it's totally lit up.
Yeah,
It does. It
Yeah.
does.
But it gives it some emphasis though too. You know, you're pulled back into those shapes and the patterns of the saddle itself, right? Where they lay and the latigos and
Well, it makes your eyes travel too. You know, so it leads you to other elements of that saddle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have to say, Maeve,
Fun.
you know, I like your stuff from the minute I saw it. At first, it was kind of like I was trying to wrap my head around it, right? But hearing you talk about it, it makes me fall in love with it.
Oh.
Just because I can tell the passion you have for your art, and just hearing it and how you explain it just makes me fall in love with your pieces even more deeply.
Thanks, Wes.
Yeah.
It is exciting though, right? When you hear somebody who's passionate and excited about what they do. I mean, like you kind of got me excited about like shovel racing, and I've never tried that before. So when we talk about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, expert! Like he knows what he is doing. So no, I totally get it, and I appreciate you saying that. But I think when we hear passion and excitement in people's voices, it's hard not to also be excited, right?
Yeah.
You get caught up in it, you know?
Totally.
And I tell you what, Maeve, you should make this mandatory listening to your students. I swear to God, this podcast I've always been an art lover, and you know, I took art appreciation in college, but listening to all these different artists talk about their art and what they do and how it impacts them, I mean, it's golden. So I just, you know, not to pat our backs about the podcast, but man, just gets you pumped listening to you talk about your saddles and your other art.
Thanks.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm sorry. I don't mean to.
No, I think it's a good idea. And I think it's important. You know, we don't always get opportunities to talk about our work, you know, and when I'm in the classroom, you only have a certain amount of time and blah, blah, blah. Right. And I tend to like cut my work short because, you know, I'm a fairly humble person when it comes to my work. I don't really like talking about myself all that often, but this has been awesome to really talk about like, why do I do what I do, you know, and there's a lot more behind it. So I think it's a great idea.
So fun. Yeah, this is great. This piece is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. You know what? And from a photography standpoint, I love the imagery that I mean, it's not like you just slapped an image on these pieces. I mean, you can tell the thought that went into it. You know, you can see the intention in it. That's another part of what I love. Not only like what you do with the Plex and molding it and sculpting it, but I mean, the imagery itself is incredibly well thought out and just beautiful. I love it.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, this is so much fun because I have so much color, right? There's so many textures and colors and different like environments, you know, macro and micro.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do you know where this piece went?
I think it's going to, because I believe I met the woman at on Tuesday at the show. She was just like, I want this. How do I get this? I'm like, I don't know. We have to ask a volunteer. But the Coors Western Art Show has, I think, what is someone saying, like 90 plus volunteers that work all through stock show, which is incredible. I mean, they're not paid. I mean, they're just there out of the kindness of their hearts. So I think there was about 50 of them there at this show trying to help people like write down like, you know, their names and, you know, those sales and stuff. But anyways, this piece is, I think it's going to Omaha, Nebraska. And then the other one is going somewhere in Denver. It's kind of nice to have them local just for shipping reasons, you know?
Tenant wants to acknowledge our media sponsor, New Magazine. That's NUE. You can follow both the national and the Denver edition of New Magazine on Instagram. The national edition can be found at new_magazine and the Denver edition at new_Denver_magazine. And I want to share with you something very exciting. Check out the newly launched New Denver Gallery Guide. Look for the signage that says New Denver Gallery Guide that has a QR code, Scan it with your phone, and you have instant access to a comprehensive digital guide to Denver's finest galleries and exhibitions. Find this QR code in your favorite gallery, hotel, or coffee shop as you visit and explore Denver. Thanks for listening.
I'm Maeve Eichelberger, and you're listening to the Tenet Podcast.
So let's talk about this other piece that's in the show. This is entitled Hot Mess, if I'm not mistaken, which I love that name. And
That's too
it's
funny,
so perfect
right?
because of the... No, that's as big as I can get it. Yeah, and that's what it brought up. But anyway,
Really
this
hard.
also is a fantastic piece. Talk a little bit about this.
Yeah. Well, so I told you about my excitement for fluorescence. I was like, shoot, you know what? I'm just going to try a whole saddle in fluorescence, and went for it. And I chose this, like, they call it this kind of like red pink, and like the color schemes, whatever. And it's so hot. Like, it's like wearing a pair of jelly shoes that I had when I was 4 years old. I mean, like, hello. It's like total nostalgic, like amazing happiness on a saddle. But it's bright, it's not for everybody. And it also really pulls home that contemporary Western, right? There's no imagery on it. There's no etchings. We're just like going full throttle into material and shape at this point, and abstraction. So I think it does well for that.
Yeah, for sure. And that whole visual with the jelly is totally like took me to a whole different place. Like,
know.
yeah, I was totally right there with you. Yeah, I mean, this is, it's so in your face, and I love it. It's so bold. It's absolutely bold.
It is. Yeah.
And this is the first time that
mind it.
No. It's a fantastic piece. And this is the first time that you had attempted anything like this?
Yeah. In this, like in full-fledged fluorescent, yeah, because before that it's just been little elements, or before I did this whole series for the Coors show, I did some herons, like migrating herons, but I backlit them in fluorescent, similar to what the horses are that you see from the show. But yeah, no, this is the first time I ever did a saddle in full fluorescence. And I'm working on one right now that's etched in fluorescent, which is really pretty, really pretty. Because it's also, the etchings are now capturing a little bit more light in conjunction with the edges. And it's blue. It's like a very kind of delicate fluorescent blue, but it definitely is. It's pretty. It's pretty. It's like the sky.
I can't wait to see that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That should be, yep, in the works. Yeah.
So you got to attend the red carpet event, which you've done many times before, I assume.
Yes.
Which Wes and I haven't experienced that. What is that like? Because I did talk to Rose today, and she informed me that they sold over $700,000 worth of art the other night. And she wasn't sure if that was a record or not, but that is a lot of art, a lot of money, It's
a lot of money. And the cool part too is portions of that are going to the scholarship fund, which is awesome. I mean, it's like so fantastic to be a part of that. Is really cool. Yeah. 700. She told me that too. I was like, whoa, that's a lot of money, which is I'm so thrilled. Yeah. So the red carpet event, it's kind of like no other art show I've ever been to, because people are there to buy. This is the first chance. They're the first people. I mean, not the first people to see the show, but they're the first people to have the opportunity to buy something. And people create work. These artists create work for this show specifically. This isn't like they've been showing around in galleries or anything else from the previous year. It's like all for this show. So it's like very, very intimate. People feel very special to be a part of it and have the opportunity to purchase these pieces. So you go and it's like loads of tables and, you know, open bar and people are excited. They're just happy to be there. And then it's kind of like an bidding box auction kind of thing. So you have little boxes on the wall. And if you're interested in those pieces, you only have like, I think maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. No, it's probably 2 hours. 2 hours to like walk around the entire show, which is like, did she tell you how many art pieces were in it, Todd?
I don't know. I know that there was like 75 artists, but I'm not sure how many pieces total.
Okay, well, so 75 artists times like at least each artist is doing 5 to 6 pieces. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So people are cruising around, deciding on what they're totally in love with, writing their names down, slipping them in these boxes. And then at a certain time, I think it's like 7:15, there's no more bidding. You can't bid on these items anymore. So the volunteers pull out these names, three names, right? And stick them on the wall. And whoever's first has the first option to buy. And if they don't decide not to come to get it, then the second person has the option to buy. So it's like, you know, if people really want something, they'll put their name in or have somebody else put their name in so they can steal it from them. It's like crazy.
I was going to say, it sounds manic.
It is a little manic. I mean, this year didn't feel as manic, but maybe, I don't know, maybe I wasn't really like focused on it. There's some years though, I was like watching people fight, like, whoa, it's intense.
Really?
Art is about love, y'all.
So you've experienced this for 9 years now. So what's the craziest thing that you've ever seen?
There was like a fight one year, literally.
Like a physical fight.
More like a yelling kind of fight, but like, no,
profanity?
like this is supposed to be mine. Yeah, like you really need to just give this to me. Like you should, like, well, it's crazy. It's like, well, this is how the game works. You just pull your name up, stick it on the wall. It's not like it's no hard feelings. You know what I mean? And volunteers, they're just volunteers. They're not really supposed to have to deal with that. It's like teachers having to deal with kids fighting. Why do they have to do that?
Right.
But yeah, I think that was probably one of the crazier years. There's so many people. I don't know how many people there was. It feels like thousands of people were there. There's a lot.
Fun.
And then everything transformed, right? Like already today. I mean, the petting zoo is up there now. All of the art is in the gallery. So it's, shifted. And it just becomes the Hall of Education again. So it's a unique show for that. For sure. Yeah. I almost went over and pet some of the goats today, actually. I was like, oh, give me a second. It really does bring you in. Like, oh, I get to go to the petting zoo and I get to go look at art. Perfect.
I'm going to go pet something this weekend. I can't
I'm in
wait.
heaven.
I'm going to go pet a sheep or something.
Oh, you have to. Absolutely. I don't
Okay.
even know what the schedule is, but it's going to be good. It's going to be good. And there's all those new buildings too. So, yeah.
So as a person that has art in the show and you get to experience it firsthand and the whole manic thing with the red carpet event, and walking around, whose work did you see of your fellow artists, of your peers, did you really like gravitate towards, or did you see that you were like, oh, I love that?
Oh man.
Anything really strike you?
That's a toughie. Yeah, so many. It's funny because a lot of these artists now are my friends. So we get to reconnect, every year and go through, it was a month before. It's always a month before. It's like weeks before. And we're like, are you done with your work? Have you finished yours? Everybody's freaking out and stressing. No one's done ever.
Oh, that's funny.
But anyways, we have that camaraderie now. That's interesting. Because my friend Amy Lageson, who does ceramic horses, she did some really cool interpretations this year. Kind of like the game where it was like a stick with the horse head, and you would, put it between your legs and you would ride it. You would like run around the house. So something like similar like that. But her glazes are fantastic. Those are amazing. Stephanie Hartshorn is doing some really cool pieces. Usually she is stuck with their paintings, but she usually sticks with more architectural silos and grain mills and that type of thing. But this year she did some fantastic clouds and a tree that I'm like in love with, and they're large scale. Who else? I mean, Michael Blessings, who also works, he's definitely a huge influence on me. Michael Blessings works in neon now, an actual neon, but he paints and does those beautiful like haloed edges with kind of like a neon paint or fluorescent paint. But I mean, Doc Holliday, I mean, in love, right? So there's always something good. And I'm just trying to like, I don't know. This year was super colorful. There's so much color.
There's a lot of color. I would agree with you on that.
Like everybody was, I don't know, wanting color. I don't know. But I don't know. In particular, like those couple pieces, and I just know how hard my friends work, too. It's really awesome. Terry Gardner, he has these, I don't even want to call them monochromatic, but he has these pops of color that are so fantastic. You have to get up close and all of a sudden it's like a horse's tail that might be in like some blues and grays. And then there's like this striking bit of like purple and you're like, whoa, done, Adrian Stein, who is new this year, but it's mind blowing. Kwan Ho's wife. What? Her colors and her like skulls with hollyhock, forget it. I was like, that's awesome. This is beautiful, Then you have Sophie Brown, who's like mix of like brush strokes and spray paint and everything else. It's just like you can't help but just be like fall into it, right? It's amazing.
Yeah, she's
anyway,
incredible.
there's just a few. Sorry, I could go on and on and on.
Yeah, there's so much great work. I just kind of wanted your perspective take on it and what you gravitated towards. I concur with the whole.
And Barbara Van Cleve too. Barbara Van Cleve. I think she's like, is she our only photographer? Maybe.
There's the guy from
probably one or two more.
Yeah, there's the guy
that's not true. There is more.
There's the guy from Fort Collins that does the kind of cool fish stuff.
Right.
It's Barbara, and I want to say there's at least one or two more, but I love Barbara's work as well.
Barbara's a badass. I mean, she is the OG badass cowgirl. I mean, she's like still at it too. I had the pleasure of visiting her and her ranch, I want to say like 4 or 5 years ago in Montana. And anyway, she came back this year. Didn't know if I was going to see her at the show. After COVID, people have kind of like dipped off from coming to this event just because there's a lot of people and it's kind of intense. So I wasn't sure if she was going to be there, and she was there this year. And I just love her, but she invited me to come back to her ranch this summer and go ride with her. So
oh my God,
opportunity for sure. Yeah.
How amazing would that be?
Yeah, I get to know her country, and literally her country, her land. So that'll be amazing. Yeah.
And Montana is just a beautiful state, period. Like,
it's ridiculous. I love it there. We live in a beautiful country. All of America, really. There's so much to see.
Yeah.
So there's a few of my fave highlights.
Nice.
Thank you for sharing that.
Well, you picked some really good ones, that's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You grew up here in Denver in a creative family. Like the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, right? Both your mom and your father are both artists. Talk a little bit about that, if you would.
Yeah, both of my parents, artists and creatives. They both have BFAs. Mom went into interior and fashion design, and so she was the chair of the fashion department at the Art Institute in Denver. Pretty much, for my entire growing up until I know we had moved down to the ranch at that point, and she used to commute too. So, she did that, and now she's retired now and does her ceramics full time, which is super fun to see her in a different like mode of action. She's just talk about fearless. Like that's probably where I get a little bit of my fearlessness. She's been doing some really cool stuff in her ceramics. She just tries everything. She decided she was gonna create the Taos like landscape, but like in her own colors, these beautiful, like playful clouds. I mean, it's really cool to see my mom in that position, because as an instructor, you're one person, right? As a teacher, and then you're just different as a mom. And then I get to see her this way. It's been really awesome. And then my father, BFA, but he was in sculpture. He was a sculptor, but he worked in stone and concrete, rebar, lots of different alternative materials. And then decided to go to architecture school for his trade. So he's an architect, and he still works. So he's licensed in Colorado and New Mexico, and yeah. So they're both still active. I mean, Dad's like still carving wood. And, oh yeah, he does wood too. Still carving wood and different latias for their new building down in Taos, and it's just they don't stop. So maybe that's where my energy comes from. I don't know. They have not stopped. So yeah, a little bit of a background there. Yeah.
Yeah. Right on. And cigar smoking, you get that from your dad?
Oh no, is that on my Instagram? Wait, I thought my students were going to be watching this. That is funny. Yeah, I like a good cigar. I like a good cigar once in a while.
Yeah. I saw you like it looked like Red Rocks, and you're sitting on the tailgate of a vehicle or something, smoking a stogie.
Indeed. That's awesome. I can't believe it. Yeah, I guess your whole life is on is on public display anyways, right? You can't hide anything. And I wouldn't want to. It's part of me. I do. I like a good stogie. That is part of you. And it does come from him, for sure. Anytime my dad would smoke a cigar, it always meant that he was relaxed. And I was like, cool, I'm all about it,
Were you a bit of a wild child growing up?
I got in a little trouble. I wasn't too crazy, but I did get in a little trouble, like around middle school. But isn't that the age where you just do stupid stuff, honestly?
Yeah, middle schoolers are insane, right? I know, they're insane people. They're insane little people. They're not adults, and they can't be sent away for life for whatever they do, but they're insane.
Totally. And I think that's where I fell into that hole of like an insane little person who didn't use her head. Yeah, it happened. Which is funny to think, because I am so disciplined. But yeah, I did get in a little trouble, and because of it, my parents thought it would be a good idea to take me out of that school, and we moved to Italy for 2 years. And my first 2 years of high school were in Italy, because what's worse than taking a 14-year-old out of her environment and comfort zone and putting her in a foreign country where she doesn't speak the language? Good luck. Yeah, that'll help you get your shit together for sure. Yeah, so they have a little humor in there too, but ultimately it was for the best. I mean, it got me into traveling, more art, churches, all the history that I was around constantly. Didn't probably appreciate it as much as I do now, but I was there, often, and then you have family visiting and friends visiting, and so you do all these things multiple times. And so I got to know Florence really well, which is awesome, because every time I go back to Florence, some of the same shops are still there, and you can go in and it's the same people from 20 plus years ago. I'm just like, wow, cool to go back to a place that hasn't changed much.
And they're like, Maeve, you're back.
They don't remember me. But yeah.
So where's your favorite place?
Smoke a cigar.
We got a stogie for you. You left it behind the last time in middle school.
Oh,
so where's your favorite place that you've ever been?
Oh my God. Lots of toughie.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I've been to a lot of places. I mean, I lived in Italy, and I think when you spend a longer amount of time in one place, you definitely develop a different appreciation for it. And so Italy became that. But Ireland, I did a year of study abroad in Galway, and so I really, really, really appreciate Ireland. I went to South Africa recently. That was incredible. That was pretty incredible. That's like land before time, really. The landscape is just like the land before time. It's like otherworldly. And the other place that I'm totally infatuated with is Iceland. I think Iceland is an amazing country, and that's otherworldly as well. I had the great pleasure of going on a 32-mile hike with my good friend in August, and yeah, we backpacked with our tents and cooking and everything for 32 miles across the Icelandic wilderness. It was awesome. It was so awesome.
Yeah,
I highly recommend
amazing.
That. Yeah, highly recommend that. Yeah.
Africa scares me though, because everything wants to kill you there. Instinct.
I mean, I got to be on a safari. It was cool. I mean, yeah, it's a culture shock though. I mean, they're a little bit behind as far as yeah, you know what I mean.
Yep.
So, but as far as landscape goes, and the people are so kind, and I don't know, it's a beautiful culture in a lot of ways too. So I appreciated that. But the safari was awesome. Yeah. I mean, you just get to like ride in a giant Jeep and like nature watch. Okay, take me there. You know, it was great. So privileged to be able to do something like that. Really.
Yeah.
I'm glad you asked that question, Wes. And how fantastic that you got that travel bug early on by having that experience in Italy. You know, and the little bit that we talked, you kind of strike me as kind of a bit of a vagabond, you know.
Really?
Yeah, just trekking around and the little bit of research that I did on you, you've lived in a lot of different places. So talk about what traveling does for you. I have my take on it, but what is travel and going and experiencing someplace completely foreign? What does that do for you?
It gets you out of your head. It makes you realize how small you are in comparison to all of the things, not just landscapes, but culture and ethics and people and history. And, you know, it makes me appreciate my life in a different way too, you know, seeing other people and appreciating other people's lives, you know, admiring what they have that I might not have. And I get to experience it and be a part of it. And then communication. I mean, being able to communicate, even if you don't speak the language, there's a cool connection between humans. You can look at each other, you can smile, or you could frown, but no one's really frowning. But you know, like, and you still understand one another in this really strange way. Traveling just opens up doors. Just opens up doors on so many levels. I think it just opens your mind to feeling, you know, there's so much more out there than our little minute problems that we get so frustrated with. Driving in the car in the morning, oh, why did that person turn like that? It's like, oh, forget it. You know, what's going on in this cobblestone street? Like, what kind of gelato are these people eating today? Like, that's a better way to like think about things. You know, I think that's what it does for me.
Yeah. The thing I like about traveling, you know, and I've done a fair amount, not a ton, but international travel, but it, you know, to realize that these people are, you know, just beautiful, you know. I've never ran into, when I was in a foreign country, a negative situation where you know, everybody was always so welcoming, whether it was in Israel or Japan and, you know, Korea, you know, I just always super friendly to me. So.
Yeah, that is very true. I mean, I did live in Italy. So we moved to Italy. This is crazy. 2 days before September 11th happened. And so we were there, and like just gotten out. It was like the second day of school. And, you know, we're behind in time or ahead of time ahead there. And we were like racing And people were like, "Oh my God, you're American. Like, did you see what happened to your country?" And I was like, "What?" And you get to the TV and you see these towers, and we're watching it in like real time, and you're just like in awe. And the family starts calling. They're like, "You have to come back home. It's safe back home." I'm like, "No way, safer here." People took us in like I've never been taken in before. I mean, like hugs and sheltered and like just taking care of you. Like, it's okay. Like, you're in a safe place. Like, community ended up becoming so strong there. I mean, that was a massive event, and so many people, everybody was affected. But it's that same idea, Wes. It's that welcoming, that we're all people together, you know, just trying to be and live and survive. And the kindness definitely resonates, I think, all over. Yeah, totally.
It's the best education you can get, traveling.
Totally. Yeah.
It teaches you so much
Mm-hmm.
about yourself, about the world, about other cultures. And yeah, I highly suggest that. If you're a young person, now's the time to do it. Like, don't wait. The world's changing. You know, it's changed from when I had my years of traveling back in my early 20s. The world has changed drastically. And, you know, get out there and experience it, you know, and do it while you're young. You know, don't sweat the small stuff, because you're not going to want to do it when you're retired. I mean, that's fine too, but you want to do it while you're healthy and your body is in its prime, and you don't mind, you know, camping out. You know, I camped out essentially for 2.5 months in Europe, all over Europe,
totally.
You know, and slept on rail cars and had just bizarre, weird experiences with people all over the place, and beyond that, great experiences too. But you know, like you said, you know, there's nothing better than sitting down with somebody. You can't even communicate, like you said, but you sit down and you have a meal, you break bread together, and it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, you're all the same, you know, and it just brings people together.
Yeah. And if people, even if you're worried about money, and there's so many ways now to do things on the cheap and still be safe. You don't have to be like unsafe and cheap. Like, there's ways to get around that, which is awesome, you know?
I was both unsafe and cheap. Well, you're always unsafe.
I did a bit of that too. I think as a little rogue, you know. So sometimes when you're not thinking or using your head, no, it's so good. And the people that you meet when you travel, it can end up being some of your closest friends for the rest of your life.
Sure.
Yeah.
One of the funniest experience I had, I was in Israel, and we were at a kibbutz, and there was this bunker that somebody made into a kind of, not a nightclub, but it was you'd go in there, drink, they'd play music and you drink. And there was people from everywhere. Like, there was an Italian there and somebody from Germany, you know, and I'm there, and some, you know, Israelis, and, you know, it was just fun. It was just like a little international gathering of, you know, 20 somethings, you know, and it was just an amazing experience. Yeah.
Oh, love that. Now I just want to go travel.
I know, right?
Thanks. I'm like, I don't have really any travel except like within the United States right now. I don't have like any big plans. I got so much work to do here. But I think it's good to like have something to look forward to, and set goals like that. You know, maybe a trip a year, even if it is just locally. Do something like, there's so much to see, even in our backyards, which is awesome. That I haven't even touched on Colorado fully, you know?
That's what drives me crazy. And I'm just amazed when people either have grown up here in Colorado or have lived here for a long time, but they've never been to New Mexico. I'm like, WTF? Like, how could you not? It's a state that borders your state. And New Mexico is one of the most magical places on the face of earth. Like,
for sure.
Jump in your car and drive 5 hours and you're in totally different place, and the culture's amazing, the food's amazing, the landscape's amazing. I mean, just
I know, it is so true. I don't know, people have like a aversion to driving sometimes, I think, but it's like nice, like a little road trip once in a while. You're on your own agenda. You're not having to worry about lines and grumpy people yelling at, airline people.
Yeah.
Like, that's annoying and like sets off a bad tone and energy for everything. So, but you can be in your own car and you can like do your thing. Great.
The cool thing about the Southwest is they got those missions, and they're hundreds of years old. They've been around
totally.
since the Spaniards, right? And it's just amazing just to go and just kind of immerse yourself in the idea that how old they are and how many people have come here and traveled through, and it's just amazing.
Totally, the history. I mean, the cliff dwellings.
Yeah,
Mesa Verde. I mean, it's like we can go on and on.
Yeah.
There's like so many things.
Yeah.
Go to the sand dunes. Those are cool.
Oh my God.
Shit.
Yeah. Spend some time in the San Luis Valley, like one of the most magical places on the face of the earth, right there.
Really.
Right
Totally.
there. Just go do that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got yourself a formal art education. I want you to talk a little bit about that and the importance that you think or didn't, or maybe don't think it played in your work.
It was important for me, and not everybody will agree with that by any means. I mean, there's artists who never had an education who are doing well, right? For me, it was hugely important. One, because it challenged me a lot, and it also helped me and pushed me to discover different things that I wouldn't have tried had I not been in school, right? Different teachers, those types of things. My BFA, I was kind of all over the board. I do kind of sound like a vagabond. Wow, Todd, wait for this. So Philadelphia, like Moore College of Art and Design in Philadelphia, all girls art school. I was there for a year. It's fantastic. I mean, you're doing kind of like your core credits and everything. So you have to take all kinds of classes. Then went back to Regis University. And then you totally said, are your AirPods charged? And it totally just was like, boop, 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 boop. We will see how long this lasts. Okay. And if not, we'll just switch it up. Then went to, Regis, and then did a year in Ireland, and then came back and finally graduated from Regis. But all of that in between was different teachers. It was different experiences. It was different types of classes. And then I did my master's straight out of my BFA. And that was really important for me because I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. But what happened in my master's was I had to work so hard and so often that I figured out what I was passionate about. And for me, that was what I needed. I needed like a fire under my ass to decide like, what do you like? Why are you doing this? Why is art so important to you? And when you're asked those questions constantly, you start to actually think about it. Oh, yeah, maybe I do like this for this reason. Or maybe you figure out something else that you didn't even know maybe you're actually not into art. Maybe it was something else altogether. So I think being around other people who are wanting to be educated in other, for me, it was so important. It's what got me to where I am because I had to push myself. So I am definitely an advocate for it. And doing my master's also allowed me to be able to teach. And so those lulls in my career, up until now, it gave me that freedom and security and safety to be able to continue to do my own artwork, right? Because I could fund myself, which is awesome. It's hard. No one said life was easy. I work my butt off all the time, and I'm still a happy person. And I still have a social life, and I can still do things that I want to do. It's not impossible. Totally, totally doable. And I suggest it highly. But that did give me a lot of freedom to be able to have those degrees. So, yeah. Proponent.
Amazing.
And we know in talking to so many different artists that, everybody does this thing differently. And things, I do believe things happen for a reason. And you have those experiences, they make you, they form you for who you are, right? And it led you to this amazing experience that set you on this path where the current body of work that you're doing, it was the catalyst to to shoot you off into that spectrum, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in that aspect, that was invaluable. Do you feel like it prepared you to be a professional artist in from the perspective of business and marketing?
No. If I was to do it again, and I would tell anybody who's listening, who's in college, you're still in college or about to go into college or anything, or going back to school, make sure you take a couple business classes. Make sure you take a marketing class. Granted, marketing has changed a lot from when I was in college to what it is now, right? Social media and everything, for sure. But it's still the same principles, right? It's consistency. It's those types of keywords. But no, I didn't do any of that. And I totally wish I would have taken more. So I wasn't completely prepared. No, not for a business aspect of my career. And I'm working hard at that now, which is fine, but it also does take a little bit away from that creative element that I want to be spending my time in. So definitely urge anybody to take some kind of business class or marketing for sure. Absolutely, hands down. Yeah. I mean, I know some art history is great, but not great in economy, and finances are okay, but it's pretty important. So, yeah.
Now, are these things, because you are a teacher, and I want to talk a little bit about that, are these things that you kind of encourage your students that you currently have, that they need to, take in consideration the business aspect of art in order to make their art life go and to take some business classes? Do you teach that?
Yeah, absolutely. And say some of my students, I don't get until they're seniors, and I'm like, oh, shoot, well, you can't take any other credits. I'm like, well, go out and just go to a community college and just take a couple classes. Also, the state offers amazing, free courses in taxes, so you can learn about taxes. I mean, that sounds boring, but you need to know those things. So I'm totally encouraging my students, whenever there's free courses or just to jump in on something that they could take crash course on. And, a lot of things you can also learn on YouTube now.
Yeah.
Just pay a really minimal amount of things just to learn how to do. So yeah, always continuing education as well, even if you're not just in college. There's no excuses anymore. We have way too much at our fingertips to not know how to do things, Just takes a little bit of enthusiasm and motivation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You as an educator, do you continue to take courses?
I'm really bad.
You can just say next question.
Next question. That is so funny. No, I'm just not great about it, to be honest. But I want others to be better about it. You know what I mean? So yeah. There are things, and now where I'm really trying to focus this year is on my business career. And I will be doing things like that because I have to. Now I'm there's no time to waste. I wish I had it a little bit more, sooner, but now I will be definitely pushing myself more with furthering education.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, now it seems like the perfect time. I mean, you already know you're already at a point in your career where you're making the work. You know where you're going. Yeah. You have some ideas of how you want to even push it further. So now's the perfect time to revisit the business and marketing side of thing. It's essential, and yeah, and now you're ready for it. You're like, all right, I know what I need, essentially.
Right. And I think sometimes that's half the battle. You can take a bunch of courses, you can hear a million things from a million people telling you what to do, but until you really know what your goals are for your business, then, how do you move forward? How do you, choose the right person, that type of thing. So yeah, I do know what I want, but I'm still organizing that as well. I might be needing to hire an assistant this year, and that's amazing and also extremely scary because I've always done everything myself. So being able to delegate being able to be organized enough to write a job description. That's huge. Like, what do I really need this person to do for me? What do I need in my business that I cannot handle right now because I'm doing other things? There's a lot of that right now to think about. It's really exciting, right? To think that I'm far enough in my business where I could hire somebody. Whoa, that's mind blowing for me right now. But also scary. So yeah, I will be doing a lot of continuing education right now.
I'm thinking in those terms as well this year, and especially with this podcast. And if you're looking for assistant, I'm contracting Wes out. So I'm
Nice.
trying to make a little cash on the side, and he's a good guy.
Sweet. I love it.
If nothing else, I'll make you laugh.
Yeah.
Perfect.
He's good for a good.
That's good.
He's good for a laugh.
All we'll do is laugh all day. I don't know if we'll get anything done.
We'll have a good time,
honestly. Though. Yeah, that's true.
Where all do you teach?
I teach at Regis University, and I teach at Rocky Mountain College of Art and Design.
So just like part-time, you're adjunct professor?
Adjunct. Yeah, adjunct, which is perfect for me.
Because it gives you free time to do your art,
right? It gives
right?
me free time. Yeah, it gives me my freedom and schedule. Which is great. No health insurance or anything else like that, but whatever.
There's always the pros and cons, right?
Exactly.
You don't get all the perks, but you have freedom to do your work. So.
Oh, and I also, what am I crazy? I also teach with Think 360 Arts, which is a nonprofit organization in Denver. They have affiliates in different cities around the country. Because I worked with one in Miami, Florida when I was in school. But basically contracted, and I totally urge other artists and even students to look into this, but contracted visual artists, performing, musicians, all different types of artists. So we basically are contracted into the public school system, and we go and do workshops or residencies or lectures and that kind of thing. And I've been working with them for 12 years.
Wow.
Which is fantastic. Yeah. It's been so cool. So yeah, this year, for the spring, I have 2 different schools I'll be working with. One is like a 10-week residency, just once a week for a couple hours. And then the other is like, what is it? I think we're doing 3 2-hour sessions or something with 5th graders. So, I'm busy, but I also have a hard time saying no to students. And when it comes to teaching like that, and when I can give my, any kind of knowledge or time, I like to do that. So Think 360 Arts has been amazing. I really love working with the teachers that I get to work with, as well as the students. They're just the light of the world. I think kids are the light of the world.
What do you teach at RimCAD?
Color theory, and then there's like a studio seminar class, which is kind of just like an intro. I wouldn't even just call it a creative thinking, really just getting your mind around problem solving and what it's like to be stuck with in like a roadblock, and how do you get out of those things, and really just kind of using our brains because we don't always use our brain, and we don't always use it in those creative elements, in those ways. So yeah, but topics in color, so color theory, which is I love, it's always been one of my favorite things. Those 2, and then I teach sculpture, and I'll be doing photography this semester at Regis.
Nice.
Yeah,
my wife went to RimCAD. That's where she got her degree. So.
Oh, nice. No, RimCAD's awesome. Such a good talk about great community, family, faculty, man. It's awesome. Supportive. It's really, really cool.
Nice.
We have some really talented students there. It's great.
Yeah.
So
that'll be fun, teaching photography.
Yeah. Considering that I don't consider myself a photographer at all. I'm like, yes, the f-stop. Sure. No, just kidding. I know the basics, but we'll be doing Photoshop, and it'll be, dry mounting photography and, or photographs. And then, and critiquing and just being able to talk about your work and composition, which I love. That's what we just did. That was the best, you know?
That sounds fun and exciting.
Yeah, it'll be great. It's going to be good.
Hey, I want to talk a little bit about some more work that Wes and I kind of picked out before the podcast. So I'm going to share my screen again.
Okay.
These pieces are really, really cool. Your guitar pieces.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Both Wes and I, we gravitated to these. So they're extraordinary. Talk a little bit about them.
Yeah, I mean, my work, right, like I was talking about, it's not just Western. So the guitar, I mean, here comes the art history piece, but like Picasso and Braque, I mean, they're the constructivists. They were the deconstructing constructivists. A lot of what my huge influences on my work have always been Robert Rauschenberg and David Hockney and obviously these constructivists, or at least their phases of constructivism. Really, really cool. It's like using your eyes and your head as a camera. I can stare at something and at the same time I can see a light over here and I can see a different color over here and like make out shapes, right? Without really having to blink. But as soon as you like start to camera shot your environment and turn your head and blink and blink and blink, you end up developing and creating a new environment, that's like reconfigured. And so I think that's where a lot of these constructivist pieces come from, is just reconfiguring and abstracting elements. And I thought the guitars would just be like an ode to them, which is cool. But I used to do it all the time with like some of my older pieces from Miami were like beached, taking shots on the beach and then creating like a new peninsula of like different shapes and buildings and trees and all different things, So you'd be like, oh, it looks like Miami, but it's like not. I'm like, no, it is. I made it up, So yeah, I love the idea of reconstructing something,
I love this
its
piece.
kind of simple forms. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think that piece sold and went to New York.
Wow.
I believe. It's super cool.
So since you've been name dropping, who's the most important artist of the 20th century?
David Hockney.
David Hockney.
For me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think he's also, and I'll say that for a couple of reasons too. I mean, he's definitely been a huge influence on my work. But he's still freaking working and he's 83 and he learned how to paint on his iPad. I mean, he has not stopped and he is like still working with life. He's not just like, oh, I'm only doing this. This is the only thing I do. I mean, he has continued to just develop and grow his work as the person he is, and it's so cool. I think that's really important for other artists and myself included to keep that vivaciousness going of like, you don't have to stop at one thing. You don't have to just be good at that. You can just like keep learning and teaching yourself new things and trying different materials. And I don't know. I think there's something to be said to that.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Keeps you young, you know?
Totally. And not boring. And people, I think people do definitely gravitate towards, consistency with like, okay, that this person does this type of work. And I love that. That's great. You can always go back and get more. But then it's kind of boring after all, right? I mean, I think it's so nice to like see how they've challenged themselves or see if they're going to do something different. Just shows growth.
Yeah. He wrote an article called Abstract Art is Dead. So thought that was interesting. It's an interesting read. David Hockney.
Oh, David did?
Yeah.
Oh, David? I'm acting like I know him. Jeez.
Yeah, your buddy David. Yeah, and he's been mentioned, by obviously people that are far more knowledgeable about art, history than we are, but he's been mentioned a number of times about being like one of the greatest of the 20th century. So not surprised.
I want to talk about another piece here since we're on this page. Both Wes and I agreed that we really love this piece as well. This is extraordinary.
Thank you. So during COVID, and I think actually the guitars came out of that as well, it was during COVID when I had like kind of limited materials because everything was shut down. I started just printing pictures that I had, and it was of saddles and that type of thing. And I used the golden spiral as my method for randomness and composition. And so I'll have a piece of paper and I'll break it down into the golden spiral, and then I'll just have those pieces and then I reconfigure them. And so that's what a lot of these saddles, guitars, and I think I did some cowboy boots as well. That's what they are based off of. Just off the golden spiral and how I wanted shapes and things to work together. So it does really come back to the visual elements and how line and shape and contrast all work with one another. This is a really cool piece. Where is that piece? I think it sold.
Who would you say is your greatest support?
My parents, both of them. Yeah, my parents, for sure, hands down. They have, one, never let me quit.
Who was that? Which one was that?
Both of them.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's funny. I mean, my dad's like, well, why would you stop? Just because, like, I've applied to so many shows and have never gotten in. It's just kind of like what you said about Jill Sukup, who like applied and she was like ready to give up on the Coors show and then she got in. I mean, I've applied to so many different shows and consistently, or residencies consistently, not gotten in. Dad's like, don't give up, just keep going. And I'm like, why? And he's like, why would you quit? Like quitting has never been an option in my family at all. And then it comes to like teaching as well as doing my artwork. And, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so burnt out. I can't do this. My mom's like, you're 35 and this is the time you need to hustle. So hustle. And I'm like, right. Okay. So there's zero quitting, but it's all out of love and it's all out of encouragement. And it's a belief system of like, you can do this, but you also, it gives me, it's taught me how to listen to myself more. And if I'm saying yes to too many things and not giving myself self-care, and taking the time to say no when I should be, you know what I mean? Like it's definitely taught me how to balance a little bit better, but no quitting, just keep going. Yeah. And just constant support. Like, oh, that didn't work out well. So try something else. Okay.
Yeah. Perseverance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good for your parents for being that way. Because not everybody has parents like that. And I know when you're a kid, you're like,
right.
Shit, right? But
totally. It's annoying.
It's annoying. Right. And then you get a little bit older, like, being in your 30s, and you just appreciate all the things that they did for you,
Totally.
And it gives
like
you a lot
dealing
more.
Dealing with those totally rogue middle school humans. Like, how did they do that? I don't know why they even put up with me. But it is interesting. Like, it's all out of love though, right? They're like, you can do this. And they've always been there if I needed a hug when I felt like I really couldn't, So very, very fortunate to have that support. It's never like, but it's tough love. You have to see, to dish that out, you also have to be a little tough, right? It's not always rainbows and butterflies,
Unicorns.
Like unicorns. I forgot about unicorns.
Gotta throw the unicorn in there.
Yeah. It's so, I do admire them for sticking with it. And even to this day, they're like, okay, it's okay. Can I send you some cookies? Or like, always send cookies. Always.
What are your parents' names?
Joan and Doug.
Shout out to Joan and Doug.
Yes.
That's awesome. And so what's your favorite cookie then?
Ooh, ginger molasses.
Really?
Ooh, yeah. There you go. That's right on right there. That's right up my, if I was going to eat a cookie, that would be at the top of my list too.
And you know who has the best ones? Since you're in Lakewood, Sweet Bloom.
Oh yeah.
Sweet Bloom
I thought you were going to say something like, yeah.
They have amazing, they make their own ginger molasses cookies and they are bomb.
Tip right there.
There you go.
Obviously you have classes that you're teaching at various times of the year. But do you have like a regular like art routine around those those teaching obligations?
Yeah, just like everywhere in between, basically. I mean, my schedule, like right now, it's going to be like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays teaching, and I have some gap periods in there. But like I said, I don't really have like a 9 to 5, and so the weekends will also include that time. Do you mean like structure? Do you mean like
do you have like
a
certain routine when you get into your studio? Like you don't have any other obligations. It's just art today.
Yeah, I clean my studio first. I always clean it, like make sure it's like kind of in order. If that has to be the floor, if that has to be just a desk or like, and then I bust out my notebook and I start making a list for the day, all the things that I want to tackle for the day. And then at the end of the day, when I accomplish things or haven't, some days are very unproductive. You just start checking them off, But yeah, if it's like just a total studio day, clean, notes, work, walk the dog, play with the dog, eat, work, and then, checking things off. Yeah.
So you got to have that to-do list.
Oh, have to have a to-do list. I mean, my friend Craig Robb, who's also an artist here in Denver, my studio buddy. Well, not anymore. We both went different ways, but shout out Craig. I hope you listen to this. He always gives me so much shit because he's like, you have so many lists everywhere. But it's like, but they're all important lists, right? They're for different things. I know what they're supposed to be doing for me. But he's like, there's like paper everywhere. And I'm like, no. Structured paper. I know what it's doing. But I am a list maker for sure. Mm-hmm.
I feel like I should invest in 3M for all the sticky notes that I use. My office looks like a sticky note monster came in and barfed sticky notes all over the place.
I don't use sticky notes. I just use like the old school. Look at this. This is like another note. Look. Oh, well, no one else can see it, but it's like the old like yellow legal pads. Like I have so many of those around. Crazy.
So when you're working, do you have music playing? Do you listen to podcasts? Yeah. Music
mostly. Although I started just getting into like, I really like to read books, but Audible has been kind of nice, especially when I'm etching. I'll throw my AirPods in and just like listen to a story, which is kind of cool. But no, I listen to music, and this is kind of funny. I listen to a lot of EDM music when I'm working.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's kind of my groove in general, I think. But like, yeah, some good EDM while I'm working. Depends on the day, but jazz is also at the top of that list. And then sometimes classical.
Interesting.
So I kind of ebb and flow. But yeah. Like a good Odessa radio or something on Spotify. Something like that. Rufus the Soul. I don't know.
So I got to ask, are you a burner?
My burner. Oh, like a
Burning Man person?
Burning Man? I'm like, my burner. No, I've never been to Burning Man. Isn't that wild? Yeah. Never been to Burning Man. Yeah.
I've never been
to
either.
I haven't been to a lot of festivals like that. Or, I mean, I know it's a different type of thing. No, never was a burner.
That's such a weird question, Todd. I didn't expect that one.
I kind of like it.
Like, what are you getting at, burner? What do you mean? What's funny is I just talked to a friend of mine at work, and we were talking about Burning Man. This was like a week ago. And he was like, yeah, there's no money. You can't buy anything. Everything is bartered.
It's all barter.
So,
I know.
Yeah,
it's a really interesting way to, it's kind of like the Rainbow Tribe, but like not, but kind of.
They said, and then he said, but the odd thing out is you can buy coffee from the Boy Scouts. And I'm like, what?
What?
You buy coffee from the Boy Scouts. There's a Boy Scout troop that sells coffee at Burning Man.
That's crazy.
It is brilliant.
Crazy. But everything else is bartered. A lot of nudity. So what the hell?
Sounds like why aren't the Girl Scouts there? That's some bullshit.
Right.
What?
Selling their cookies.
Exactly. At least they can.
Maybe they don't know about
Wow,
it.
the Boy Scouts got in on that.
They did.
Wow,
Yeah.
they did a
It's like
monopoly.
one troop, I think, in near there, in a town near there, wherever that is. But yeah, I
Well,
thought it was
that
the
is
weirdest thing that I don't even know how the conversation came up about Burning Man. But it's so funny that you would ask that question. It's like, what?
funny.
Are you a burner? Jesus.
I
Well,
should have
I'm
taken
not.
my scout troop there. That
You
would have been
should.
great.
There you
Just
go.
invade. Just invade. You bring the
Sounds a
Boy
little
Scouts, I'll
wild
bring the
for
brownies.
students. Yeah.
Brownies
how
could be
old are Boy
selling
Scouts?
brownies. I mean, what the hell, right?
Boy Scouts
Brownies.
are like whatever your age you are in 5th grade. So that's like 11 to,
Kind of young to be going to Burning Man.
I
No,
would think so.
That's a lot of naked
but it'd be,
people.
yeah, it'd be mind opening for sure.
Maybe
Yeah,
they're in a little area that's like no nudity allowed, because I don't know. That's just
They're
what
probably,
somebody told
they're
me.
probably at the entrance or something
Right.
away from all the mayhem.
They probably make bank.
Yeah,
right.
They do.
You
Yeah.
know, they are coffee. I mean, people love their caffeine. It's
Right.
like shit.
Yeah.
I mean, our friend Bob Ragland would, got to bring up Bob.
Yeah.
He would always complain that, people will spend $5 or $6 a day, every day of the freaking week, but yet they won't buy art. Like that was always like one of his
Isn't that
like
funny?
bitches. Yeah. And
Yeah.
his other one was, he'd have his rant about Fido and Fifi, how people will spend all this money on their dogs, which I totally get. I love my dog,
Yeah.
but they won't buy art. So
Right. Right. I know everybody has their priorities, and coffee is definitely one of them.
caffeine, man, makes the world go round for sure.
That's true. That's
If you
true.
want to laugh, listen to that episode. It's like episode number 2, I think. And
Is it? Okay.
it's a hoot. He's absolute hoot.
Do.
Did you
God
ever meet
bless
Bob?
him.
I don't think I ever did. Oh, I don't know if you're asking me or what.
Yeah, I was asking you. Yeah,
Yeah.
Bob was a huge proponent of the Coors show, and one of the reasons that we had to go explore it, because I'm like, all right, Bob talks about all the time. We have to go see what this is all about. And he was right. Like, and he would go visit the Coors show like 5 or 6 times during the course of the stock show every year.
Yeah. Oh, because every time you go, you see something new. Like I've already been like 3 times, and I don't even feel like I've seen the artwork. You know what I mean? Like you pass things by, and yeah.
Well, there's a lot to look at. It's almost overwhelming in some aspects. You do have to go back like multiple times. It's like going to the museum, like the Denver Art Museum.
Totally.
It's like you can't see everything in a day. You know, you have to go back multiple times and check it out.
Right, you're not going to go once. Right.
And animals
once you get out there. Oh.
And animals
great.
want to
Now
be
we're all
petted
talking
too.
at once.
So sorry.
Yeah, all the animals, get in there. True.
We talk a lot about voice on the podcast, and obviously being a friend of Rose's, it's if I'm going to channel my inner Rose Frederick, what is your why, right? But do you feel like you found your voice as an artist?
Yeah. Well, yes, I would say that. And I also think I'm still discovering it. Totally.
Well,
I've definitely found me, and I feel good about what I'm doing and why I kind of do what I do and the things I love. But I have so much more to continue to discover with it. And I think that's that playfulness and experimenting that's continually helping me find my voice. And I hope, like I said, I hope I continually grow. I don't want to just stop at one thing. Like saddles are not my end all. Even if I do go down the world path of saddles, there's more to be explored with that,
And I think there's different levels of that, right? Like you said, you have the foundation, what you do, and now it's just building off of that, the exploration of it, which is a beautiful thing. I think that's when you kind of found your voice, what you can do, what your capabilities are. And then from there, and you don't have to think real hard about it. You have your process down, but then from there you can leap off the high dive, right? And just explore the unknown.
Totally. I think, it's actually a really good way to say that. It's like, feel confident, comfortable where I'm at, and now I'm ready to dive into more. Yeah.
Do you consider yourself a full-time artist?
Yes. And a full-time everything else.
Yeah, I think you're doing double time, but I
definitely doing double time. But yeah, I definitely consider myself a full-time artist. I will say though, if I wasn't teaching, I feel like I'd be a double-time artist. So what could I produce if I wasn't? Do you know what I mean? There's a lot. Yeah. But I do consider myself full-time. But I'm a part-time teacher, for that is for sure.
I think you're really smart, and I love how you've set yourself up where you have this dependable income from teaching, but it also is, you're doing it part-time. So you have plenty of time to work on your art and create. Right. And I think that's perfect. And again, we recently, this fall, we talked to do you know Brett Andrus down in Colorado Springs?
Okay. Sounds familiar, but I don't.
You'll have to check him out on Instagram, but he's in his studio at least 40 plus hours a week, but right. his daytime job is he's a mortgage broker, and he does that full time.
No way.
Yeah. And he just, he really wanted to differentiate that even though he has this other job, he is a full-time artist, and I thought that was great. Like, that's fantastic, that you can have your cake and eat it too in that aspect. And you just got to figure it out. And everybody does it differently.
Right. Yeah, that's the point. I think everybody does do it differently. And I actually haven't just sat down to think about how many hours that I'm in the studio, but I am a lot. So, I mean, but it's where I want to be. So I'm definitely wanting to spend time there, but I haven't calculated it.
So I'm pulling out another Bob Ragland question that I always like to ask. So what do you do with your money when you make a big sale?
Put it in the bank. I save it. What do I do with my money when I make a big sale? Yeah, well, I definitely put it in the bank, but then I buy a bottle of champagne.
Awesome.
And a good cigar.
And a stogie.
And a stogie.
Nice. Yes, you're on the same page. Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, there's always a little bit of a celebration there, for sure. Yeah. You have to. You have to enjoy those moments. You're not always going to sell things, and so when it comes about, I might. And that's the thing, another Doug and Joan, work hard and also play. Enjoy that time. Celebrate those things. I mean, we're a family of toasting and cheersing constantly. Happy to be together. Good job on your sale. Way to finish the day. You know what I mean? It's all good. So there's always a little bit of a celebration in there, for sure. And I've finished big pieces and been by myself and still cracked a bottle of bubbles and been like, oh, great. You did this. Right now you have this time and permission to relax and enjoy it. I think that's been a lesson for me, is giving yourself permission to celebrate once in a while. It doesn't always have to be so serious and work. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that.
You got to have balance, right?
You have to. Yeah. Or else you burn out.
Yeah.
On both, right?
I like the idea of being consciously thinking about, you know what? You did this. It's
right.
time to celebrate.
Yeah.
Because I don't think people do that. I don't think I think about I make a big sale or whatever, that I feel oh, I'm going to sit back and, have whatever to celebrate. I'm off to the next thing, or don't even register about celebration.
Yeah. No, it's a good thing to start thinking, keep it in your mind, because celebrating feels good too. It's nice relief in so many ways. Yeah. Go celebrate, Wes.
I'm going to. Thank you.
Good.
That's great advice, Maeve. That's great advice.
You just got permission from Maeve to celebrate, Wes.
You did.
He might actually
listen
to you.
It's nice to get permission from other people. It is. Yeah. I don't always listen to permission for myself sometimes, Sometimes I do move too quickly.
I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that real soon, where I'm just going to be like, you know what? This is for me. This bud's for me, or whatever.
And let me know how it goes, because I think you'll be like, oh, this is nice. I like this. I could get on board.
Yeah. I'll let you know.
Awesome. Okay.
So you sound like you're pretty pragmatic. You're a saver, and you don't spend money on extravagant things. Is that correct? Other than maybe, traveling, which I don't consider extravagant, but.
Yeah, no, I really don't. I mean, geez, like, life is expensive enough. It's kind of hard to even, save all the time, just because of life. But no, I don't really spend things on extravagant things. I mean, I definitely have a self-care routine where, I make sure I go see an acupuncturist and make sure I get a massage once in a while, just to tune in with myself. I don't call that extravagant, because it is self-care. It's the same as travel, and I'm not traveling too often. And you can find good deals. So I know.
There's always a deal to be had. Exactly. I firmly believe that.
Totally. But I do celebrate, sometimes I like to celebrate. Oh, and I do. Okay. My extravagant, there you go. Here it is. My extravagant splurge is hotels. I love a nice hotel. Yeah. Oh, it's so bad. My mom ruined me. I always tell her that. She's like, well, at least you know. But we like good hotels.
I just recently had that epiphany about good hotels, and now I'm sold. It took me a long time, because I'm a cheap ass, right? And this is the year of getting out and about, even if it's not far from home, or trip down to New Mexico. And just staying someplace cool, nice,
Exactly.
Take it in.
Yeah. That's like giving yourself permission to celebrate. It's the same, let yourself enjoy it a little bit, right? Why do you have to worry about dirty sheets? Oh, forget it.
Yeah.
Don't you want to sleep well?
Yeah.
I mean,
so Todd thinks I'm crazy, because when I go to Denver, a lot of times to do an interview or whatever, I stay at the tech center at one of the big high rises. And, because I found early on that they're not that much more expensive than La Quinta, 2 miles down the road. And I'm like, screw this. I'm going to stay in a nice hotel.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good. And it's so much better, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Good view of the city. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And you're still not too far from anything.
Now, I'm not saying that the Brown Palace by any means, but, but a nice hotel, a step up from the, Motel 6.
Oh, yeah. You don't have to spend $400 a night to have a nice hotel.
Right.
You definitely don't.
Yeah.
I'm the expert. No, it is, things are getting more expensive.
Yeah, for sure.
So I got to ask you, how do you go about selling your art? Is it mostly through galleries, or how does that work?
Yeah, galleries. Sometimes I just get private commissions through social media or something like that. And then sales, for exhibits. If I'm going to a show or something like that, like the Coors Western Art Show, or a specific place. I was just, I have some work up at the Steamboat Art Museum right now at a show called the New West, Contemporary Approach to the West, really fantastic. You all should look into that show. It's up until through April, I think, or through March anyways. But yeah, so it just depends on, but a lot through the galleries for sure, but exhibits and commissions, just the same. Yeah. But social media has definitely, escalated my presence and sales and all of those fronts. I mean, that's how you found me, right, Todd? Maybe?
No, actually, I started paying attention to your work the first year that we went to the Coors show.
Oh, Coors show. Yeah.
And then I friended you on social media,
right.
Both on Instagram and Facebook. And, just started following you, and which is what I do a lot of times is I'll see, I either the algorithm gods sends me a person and I start following them, and I'll follow them for like, I mean, we've been doing this. We're into our fourth year. We're going on our fourth year now.
Yeah.
So I'd either go to a gallery and see work that I really loved, start following them on social media and just kind of see where they're going, or the algorithm gods would give me a person and I'd kind of check out their stuff, and then I'd friend them or follow them.
Right.
And I'd follow them for like a good year, sometimes year and a half. And then when I feel the time is right, I'll reach out and go, hey, I've been following you for a while. I really like what you do. And are you interested in talking with us?
Cool. Yeah, it just depends. Like Mark Sublet in Tucson at Medicine Man Gallery, he found me online on my social media, I've had clients pop up like that, and then I've had word of mouth. So it just really, it's all of the things, but it is staying consistent with social and keeping up with clients and making sure you don't lose those. What's the word? Tails? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like loose ends. You don't want to have loose ends. That's what I'm trying to say. So, yeah.
And you have, you just talked a little bit about it, but you have gallery representation. This is a fairly new thing, correct? Like within the last few years, is that right?
Yeah, 3 years. I think it's been 3 years. Oh, could be wrong. Vail International Gallery up in Vail, Colorado, and then a Rare Gallery in Jackson Hole. And then recently this fall, Vaughn Gallery in Austin, Texas. And I am showing with Mark Sublet in Tucson. And we'll see how that, goes. Which I think is going to be awesome because he's awesome. Western Gallery online with George Irwin. Do you guys know George?
No.
On Western Gallery. Oh my gosh, you need to look at his stuff. So Western Gallery, George Irwin, he just does like a basically online gallery. Fantastic. Great artist that he's, on his roster. And so he is how I got into Austin, because he did a pop-up show there, like an actual physical pop-up show. And so I drove to Austin with some of my work, and then the space that we were in was a gallery, and they're like, well, can we show your work too? So they just kept some of my work down there. So,
nice.
Yeah. So Western Gallery. So he focuses mostly on Western works, but George is awesome. Super great. Yeah, definitely.
So most of these folks have found you and reached out to you to be part of their gallery. Is that the way it's worked?
Yeah. Every single one.
Wow. That's a great position to be in, Maeve.
It is. And it's funny because as much as I don't like social media, it definitely works. It drives me crazy. I really want to hire somebody else to do it for me, to be honest. But it is fun, it's fun to keep on top of. And it's also a different kind of creative platform. I mean, these trending reels and everything else, it's interesting. It's a learning curve. But
you mentioned commissions.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do a fair amount of commissions?
I do quite a bit. So if someone is vibing with something that I do, for example, like one of those electric pony horses that I have at Coors right now, they'll say, hey, I have, could you do that, but in this color? Or I have, they'll like the style that I'm working in, but they might want something a little bit more personalized. And so it comes down to that. Or that's usually how it goes. Someone loves the style of something, but they want it bigger, or they want it, or they want their own photography printed on something, and so then it becomes more personalized. So commissions have been great though. I like them. They're harder because you're working with another person. You are collaborating in a lot of ways. Still my vision, but you still are, you're collaborating. So you have to work together. Yeah.
So you enjoy that collaboration, that process?
I do. Yeah. I haven't really had a bad one. Thank goodness. Knock on wood.
Yeah, right. Really knock on wood right now, Maeve.
Yes.
Seriously. And you said that this heron piece, that was a commission?
Yes. Uh-huh. That's the piece, that and then the aloe, that big blooming aloe, same house. We started working together in April and just finished in December.
Those are amazing.
Wow. They're so beautiful. And I really am excited to jump into more of this too and see where I can go with birds and different types of animals. And, it's still my style. I'm still deconstructing something and then putting it back together in a different composition. But I think there's something very elegant about these pieces.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's the first word that comes to mind when I saw these.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned it. I think we talked about it in conversation when I first approached you about being on the podcast.
Yeah. Wow, I haven't even seen all these comments. That's hilarious. That's so funny. No, and it's really interesting. I said that clouds in the sky have always been my muse. And these pieces are printed with sky in the background. The aloe is. A lot of my horses are all printed with sky. Like, it's just this gorgeous neutral ground to work on. And I love it. And I can change the opacity of it to being even more so neutral, or something you can just more feel like texture from it,
Mm-hmm.
So that's what that texture is in the background. It's cloud sky composition.
Yeah. Those are absolutely stunning. And obviously everybody thinks so too, now that you get to see the comments.
I know. So funny. Where is this on? What is this on? Instagram?
This is on your Instagram. Yeah.
Oh, geez. See, I can't keep up, y'all.
Well, it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah.
It is a lot. And I'll tell you, by, just doing social media, I've gotten fast at it, but it's time consuming, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it seems like the platforms are always changing. So there's always something stupid that all of a sudden, nothing, something that you're used to doing or some part of your workflow, all of a sudden it stops working. And you're like, what the hell is going on?
Right. No, totally. And then, social media can end up being its own planning organization calendar as well. And I haven't gotten that far by any means.
You better put it on the list.
Yeah, thank you. My list. It'll be like 9:00 in bed. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't post today. I should probably do that really quick. Oh man, so much better if it was planned out. But hey, they love you.
This work is so time intensive, I imagine, from the planning of it to the actual getting the materials ready and laying it out and then actually doing the work. How do you go about pricing your art? Because this is so different than anything else that we've ever discussed with anyone,
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a formula?
Like good old, yeah, a little bit. I mean, I kind of go by especially the wall hanging pieces. I have a formula as far as square inches, you know what I mean? And the material and how much the material costs. And with inflation, it's gone up. And so it's, for square inches, and then my hardware, and then my actual materials. And then I usually factor a little bit of time frame in there. Commissions are different too. Like, how many hours are we really spending on design and planning versus, me just doing it. But it's all a part of that pricing. I think pricing is the hardest thing to do in my business. Absolutely. I mean, I have a formula now and it's okay. I mean, just as I can't keep up, then the demand goes up. So I have to increase a little bit. I mean, that's the only thing I can do. If I can't keep up with the saddles, the prices have to go up. I'm the only one doing them. So yeah, that's kind of how I've tackled it.
When we,
but Rose gave me good advice a long time ago. She said, you don't want to outprice yourself. See, if you're going to increase, and you need to increase, of course you do. But go up in increments, percentages at a time. Don't go up boom, 50%. Wow. And then people are going to be like, why is she on her high horse? You know what I mean? It's interesting. It's a huge balance in the art world. Finicky place.
Yeah.
So
well, I would think you probably have normal collectors too. So you don't want to pace them out. You want them to go up, cause they'll go with you. But like you said, if you jump way high, you might lose them,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, challenge. But I see it more in the saddles where I have to increase more in my pricing because those take the longest, and it's just more demand for them, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, square inches, I guess.
So where does an original start for you, and what does it go up to? Like, what's the spectrum?
In a saddle or for
Just your art
wall
in general.
hanging?
Yeah, just your art in general, not necessarily a saddle.
Oh,
Just
okay. Like, I guess like a smaller, like one of the smaller pieces I just created is probably, I don't know, like an 18 by, I don't know, 26 or something. That's pretty small for me. So that's around like 1100-ish. And then it can go up to like the big full-size etch saddles are now at 10,000. That's a huge range. But not really when you're thinking about it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's all relative when it comes down to like size and what's really happening in it. Right.
Yeah.
absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, but that's kind of the range.
And it's, you know, your work is so unique. It's not like somebody that paints and they, you know, offer prints of their painting. You know, it's not, you can't do that. You can make smaller pieces, but it's not like you can have us, you know, and a lot of times we found that successful artists are able to kind of offer something at all those different price points, right?
Yeah. And I could make something smaller and go lower in price as well, like for those wall hangings. Absolutely.
But you don't need to do that. I mean, you're at a point where, you know, you have collectors, you have people reaching out that want to do commissions, and you have gallery representation. And you're in that really nice position, I think.
Yeah. It is good. It is good. It's something that I just have to keep, you know, believing in myself. Like, this is where you're at. Like, it's okay. You don't have to like, I worry about it sometimes. I'm like, oh my gosh, am I pricing myself out? Like, is this okay? Like, well, yeah, if you can't keep up.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so it's just funny. You know, it's a very vulnerable space to be in, asking for money. I don't like to ask for money, you know. What I do for my living too. We're all sharing this, you know, art together. So yeah, it's good. Have to be confident in it.
We had this lady, Lori Lipton, on, and I loved her comment. She goes, I knew when I was successful when I couldn't afford my own pieces.
Well, that's funny.
Yeah, I thought that was that was just a great comment. So
that's interesting.
I'm glad you
like
cashed
that a lot, actually.
I'm glad you cashed that.
Yeah,
Wes.
I love that line.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. I'm gonna write that one down.
Yeah.
Who said it?
Lori Lipton. And if you've never checked out Lori's work, especially a person that loves to draw, you will be blown away, because she works huge.
Oh, cool.
Huge.
Cool.
And there's a great documentary that you have to find on YouTube. It's either YouTube or Vimeo. But anyway, if I think about it, here, let me make a note. I'll send the video to you. But it's extraordinary. Cool. Yeah.
Awesome. I love that.
She's a hoot and an extraordinary woman.
And she spent a lot of her life living abroad.
Yeah.
Grew up on the East Coast, and then, you know, found her way over to Europe and bounced around Europe for a ton of years until she decided to move back to the States and move to LA.
Oh, cool. I'll definitely be checking her out.
She's got a crazy story. Do you ever suffer from creative blocks, or are there days where you're just not feeling it? And if so, what do you do in those instances?
On the creative block days usually becomes a self-care day. I'm like, oh, you just need to drink tea and take a bath, or you need to go on a hike, or you need to just sit and watch an old movie. You need to throw Casablanca on and zone out for a little bit. Yeah. Like, I love old movies. I love film. Film would be the other thing I would study. That should be my continuing education, should just be more film. I love film. But yeah, that's what I would do on those creative block days. Usually first is to get outside and just walk or hike or do something physical activity. Cause that always helps me, get out of my head. And then, yeah, maybe some days are just like, you just need to cuddle up and watch a movie. Zoning out can be really, really therapeutic
Oh yeah.
because then the next day it's a new day. Tackle tomorrow. You
There you go.
don't have to worry about it today. I think it's like, again, giving yourself permission to understand that not every day is going to be your best successful day, or productive for that matter.
Yeah.
Just as long as you don't have multiples in a row.
Right.
then
It's a month long.
there's something else going on.
Right.
Yeah, then there's something else.
Well,
But, yeah.
What's that writer? Son of a gun. From New York City. Did a documentary with Martin Scorsese where she's been on a writer's block since like the 70s.
Oh my gosh, wait.
What's
Fran
her name?
Lebowitz.
Fran Lebowitz. Yeah. Like, how is that even possible?
Yeah.
But I seen that documentary.
That's terrible.
Right. It's a great
terrible.
documentary. And she's an interesting person, but like she said, I've been on a writer's block since like maybe it was the 90s, but it was a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, but really, are you though? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, there's still stuff going on, right?
Exactly.
Just not what you maybe wanted yourself to be or expected from yourself that day.
Yeah.
I think we put these like expectations on ourselves to produce something in a certain way, or the idea was supposed to be like this, but it wasn't. And so you kind of give up on it.
Mm-hmm.
Elizabeth Gilbert, who wrote Eat, Pray, Love.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, yes, she did. But she also wrote, she also wrote Big Magic. And I love that book because she talks about catching ideas and the creations and creativity. And sometimes ideas come to you and you grab them and you work with them. And others, you see them, but you haven't like taken it on, and it goes to somebody else. So she really personifies what an idea is, which is kind of cool. I think of it as like a cloud passing, and then sometimes, you just didn't grab onto it. It just didn't work out the way you thought it would, but maybe it did for somebody else.
Right.
So I kind of love that idea of like, letting go of some expectations, but grabbing onto something when you have it and trying to work with it, make it something. If it doesn't work, let it go. Right?
Yeah. That's a great metaphor.
Yeah. Absolutely. We're gonna start to wrap this up.
Okay.
Most artists that we talked to had like a banner year during that 2020, that first year of the pandemic. How was that year for you?
It was good. I mean, I still had sales. I was still in the gallery. Things were working. It was fine. But I didn't spend a lot of time in the studio. I mean, I was drawing, but I wasn't like as active, I guess, as what I thought I would have been with like bending and making saddles and that type of thing. It was more working in collage and drawing a lot, like getting like drawings ready for etchings that I was going to do. But as far as like, sales still happened, commissions still happened. I was kind of shocked, so I spent like 3 months of lockdown in Taos. I just like left the house in Denver and was like, yeah, I'm going to the country, I'm going to go get some space, which I feel really fortunate to have had that opportunity. We just kind of sequestered ourselves and did a lot of outside work and like building a greenhouse and a chicken coop and stuff like that. Nice. Yeah. So it was a successful year, but it wasn't, wouldn't call it my like banner year, and I wouldn't say it was just like loads of ideas and creativity. It wasn't like coming out like crazy. I was just kind of moving forward in a very slow paced, comfortable fashion, It was low key.
Yeah. It sounds therapeutic to me. Sometimes doing manual labor, just building something or whatever, doing stuff around your house or planting a garden. I mean, that's all like good stuff, right?
Absolutely. I absolutely think it's therapeutic. There's nothing, the instantaneous results, right? You're doing something to get it done so you can, move forward with it. It's perfect. I love that kind of stuff.
Did your art change at all? I'm sorry.
I don't No, well, maybe. I don't really think it changed as much as I just started like honing in more on New Mexico and the
Okay.
plant life and colors. I think that probably definitely um, was an impetus for the colors that you see now, for sure.
Okay.
The sunsets and that type of thing. But I don't know if it changed.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good question. Think
Thanks.
about that.
And then how are
Hmm.
the next 2 years, 2021, and then this past year, 2022, as far as like sales and commissions and production?
Banging, just
Nice.
gangbusters,
That's awesome.
which has been awesome. Yeah, but like I said, it's been hard to keep up with it at this point. Um, yeah, but it's just been really good. And I think, like you kind of mentioned before, Todd, like finding your voice. I think I have started to like move forward into that and just become more confident in like what I've been doing and fearless. I think fearless is a great way to say like I'm just gonna go for it and see what happens, see what catches. And I think it's working and people are trusting in me. Great.
Yeah.
Can't believe it, actually. you know?
As an artist and a lover of art, and you teach art, what kind of stuff do you collect?
Oh, I have a lot of photography. I have a lot of I'm like looking around. Actually, you can see my that piece behind me. Susie Bates in here in Denver in Lakewood. She we used to show at Next, the co-op gallery in town. And I love this piece behind me. We did a trade. So she has a white peacock piece that I did, like a wall hanging piece, and I got this piece, and it's an 8 foot, gorgeous, like kind of more analogous colors of like from reds to pinks to oranges. And she does this amazing dot work in gold. And so these like huge kind of topographical maps, and she had labeled them based on longitude and latitude, or titled them based on longitude and latitude. I don't remember what this particular one was titled, but anyways, I lucked out with this awesome piece, and it comes in every house I've had. And now I finally have a place that's big enough for it. It's an 8 foot canvas and it's a pain in the ass to hang, and I love it. And then I have, I do trades with my artist friends. I think that's kind of my biggest thing now, is just trading with my artist friends. I have a Terry Gardner, Amy Logison. I'm like looking around. I don't know what else. Yeah, and then I collect like local little things. So I go down to Taos and I find little things that I love from people who are just not even just crafts, but maybe painters or illustrators, weavers. And so I have this kind of really cool shrine wall in my kitchen of all these little pieces, handmade crosses with inlaid straw, and, just anything and everything. So I have kind of an eclectic approach to my collection,
Nice.
but I love everything. Love everything. Yeah. I do have a huge poster, a David Hockney poster, one of his, like, it's not an original, but it's from one of his paper pool pieces from back in, like, I think my parents got it like back in the 90s. And it's a poster. It's just like a giant big poster. It's beautiful. It's this diver jumping into the pool, and I'm infatuated with it. And that poster alone is like worth a fortune now, which is crazy. It's worth more than my saddles, which is insane.
Oh, wow.
It's a poster.
Dang.
I mean, it has like just like the label below of like the opening in like Victoria and in Australia and everything. But it's just the most, I'm just enchanted by it.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. Anyways, what was the question?
Oh, so I was going to ask you, so how do you feel about these climate change protesters that are going into museums and defacing art, throwing
I
stuff
think
on
it's
art?
bullshit. I think it's bullshit. Well, I don't get it. But I'm not that, I just don't, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why is damaging something like, okay? Why was it really helping you inside to like, you're angry about something, so you're going to like upset somebody else? That doesn't make any sense to me. I just, I don't know. I just don't get it. It literally has no, like, I have no understanding for it. And I think it's just because I mean, I'm a very nice person, and I don't get angry, and I've never lashed out on anything like that. So, to take it out on art though, like, what does it do to you? I don't get it. Like, what does that have to do with climate? Like, doesn't make any sense to me, you know? I think that's where I'm at.
See, and I think part of it is it's the generation of damaging things, whether it's
Like,
people's
why, though?
careers or, you know, people
Yes.
personally or
That's so
art.
true.
Like they're so, I don't understand it either, but they are so vindictive that they'll ruin people's lives for something that
I know.
happened decades ago,
I know.
you know?
Is it just that they're trying to make history, or like, is it like a trending thing, or is it like, I truly just don't understand it. And so I'm on board with you. I really, when did like memes become popular and okay?
Yeah.
I feel like it's been happening for a couple of years now.
Sure.
Obviously, we've had some things in our country with just being mean. And I just, just don't get it.
Yeah. I don't either. It's sad.
It's super sad. It's embarrassing, actually. It's embarrassing to even like be around it or like know that, I don't know.
I used to say this when I was young. It's like some people's parents. I used to say some people's mothers. Like you see some bad behavior. I'm like, some people's mothers. What were they thinking? But now it's more like, you know, to be, you know, it was just a silly saying. But, you know, it's like, is your parents just proud of your actions? Gluing your hands to a piece of art and throwing stuff at it? Like,
or lack thereof parenting, really.
Yeah.
Not even, there's no one around to discipline.
They're so freaking entitled that they can damage stuff and not even think twice about it.
That is so crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know.
Oh my gosh. It's like, I don't know. It makes me really upset. See, this is the angriest you'll see me.
Well, I'm glad we got to see the bad side of you.
Wow. I'm laughing right now, but I
know.
This is like kind of the missed aspect of me that I just don't understand, and I have an opinion about. And I'm not going to say hurtful things about other people, but it's just like hurt people, right?
That's a fact right there.
Yeah.
So I'll just leave it at that.
Will
if
Smith
you have
said
the
that,
guts
didn't he?
to do something like that, like I don't know, maybe. I feel like it was like.
I think it was Will Smith said that in his apology episode on TV. He said, hurt people. Like, that's okay. Good excuse. Well,
but it kind of makes sense though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I
mean, if you're hurting inside, there's more of a chance that you're going to say some messed up something to somebody else so you feel better, but it doesn't really make you feel better.
Right.
No, never.
Yeah.
But it works for those climate crazies because they have a group of them, and people have group mentality, and then they lose their damn minds. So it's like, of course, it's like, you know, if you have one other person to do it with, then you're not the crazy one, right?
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, they got to have one person to help you, and then somebody to film it, and Anyway, it's
madness.
It's maddening. You're right.
It is madness. I like the question though.
And thank you for answering it, taking it. You know, it's something that, you know, it's been at the forefront of the news. It seems like it's kind of simmered down now. I haven't heard anything as of late. But it's interesting to hear everybody's takes on it, you know, and I appreciate it because we've kind of been polling, you know, different people in the art world, and it's interesting to hear everybody's perspective for sure.
Yeah, and not everybody feels the same way we do. So, which is
crazier.
But I mean, it's interesting to get their take because it's just like the first time we asked this question, they thought it was okay, and it took me by surprise because I wasn't expecting that answer. I expected everybody who's an artist to feel like appalled by it, but she was like, no, I think it's great. They're, you know, they have a voice, and this is the way they're going to get their voice out, and people are paying attention, and it's doing what they want it to do because it's getting people's attention. And it's like, wow, okay. I didn't expect that answer.
But it doesn't make it right.
Yeah. I don't know. And I'm not going to say she's wrong, but you know, because it was she had a well thought out answer. I was just taken back by it, and then, so, nothing
right. We
against
all
her.
have it. We all have a voice. We all have a voice.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting how people decide to use it.
Yeah. Poor
And
Van
when
Gogh.
it's mean, I just.
They were mean to him when he's alive, and now they're mean to him when he's dead.
Yeah. What the hell? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This is so much fun.
I'm glad that you were willing to talk with us.
Yeah.
As we wrap this up, I want to ask you, obviously you have the Coors show through the 22nd of January. You've already sold 2 pieces there. What else are you looking forward to in 2023? More exhibitions that you have? You mentioned Steamboat, right?
Yeah, Steamboat, that show is up through March, I think, like ends in April. And then the Rodeo de Tucson in Tucson at Mark Sublet's gallery. That's February. And I think it's up for the month of February, I believe, that particular show, February 3rd through the end of February. And then I don't think I have anything else right now in the books. It's kind of, I'm working on a commission for the new Benson Hotel out in Aurora. Yeah, Willie Matthews gathered a bunch of us Colorado artists together to kind of decorate this hotel, which is, I'm super honored. So I'm doing a giant saddle etched for that. And it's due soon, which is unfortunate because I haven't started.
Oh.
There you go. Under pressure.
There's the procrastinator coming.
There you go.
Yeah.
Procrastination in production. There you go.
Geez. Yeah. Let's see. But other than that, and then I have a solo show with Mark Sublet in Tucson in 24th. So I'll be starting to prep for that over the next year. I'll need it. I need that much time for the amount of work that we'll be putting together for that. So, and then anything else that filters in between, and I love it. Let's see. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. But I do have a newsletter that you can kind of keep up to date with me. Like once a month, I kind of give like a monthly art update, and then kind of like what's going on in my world, which is kind of cool because it's a little bit more content than just Instagram photos and that type of thing. There's actually some written word there, which is cool. And I love it. I love writing my newsletters. It's really fun.
Right on.
So if you wanted to subscribe to that, you can just do that from my website. Go to the newsletter thing.
Under news, right?
Tab.
Under news?
Yeah, the news tab. Yeah.
That's what I just signed up.
Nice. Yeah.
I will do the
but
same.
It's fun. It's a very great way to keep in touch and can tell you about shows and all different types of things. Now that I have a new studio, I'll probably be doing an open studio at some stage, but I wouldn't count on it until like June at this rate.
We might just come knock on your door.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I just got to get a little bit more together and then doors will be open.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let me know when you're in town too, since you're coming out from South Dakota. That's awesome.
Well, I'm here this weekend, Saturday and Sunday.
Weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
And I'm not saying you should hey, come on over, but this weekend, and I'll be back.
Cool.
So I just don't have. I used to come more regularly, and then the pandemic happened, and then but I'll start coming more often.
Yeah, good. Yeah, let me know because it would be fun to have you both over to the studio.
Yeah,
see everything in person again.
Maybe we can smoke a cigar together.
Yeah, I'll pay money to see that.
Oh,
Wes,
I'd smoke one with you.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'll even buy the cigars.
Would you?
Yeah.
Can we get some like Havana or Cuban
well,
or something?
Zane is going to Costa Rica and he can pick up Cubans down there. So
let's do that.
Perfect.
Me and Dave will smoke a big cigar.
He might even still have some Cubans. I don't know. I'll have to ask him.
Cool.
I have one last question before we leave off this evening.
Okay.
And that is, if you were able to go back in time and give advice to your younger self, what would you say?
It's always a good question. What would I say? What would I say? What would I say? I would say protect your peace. I would say don't compare yourself so much. And yeah, believe in yourself. Those are 3 things I would say. Yeah. Building that confidence back up, right? Hard being a human.
It is. It is hard being a human. It is.
Yeah. Younger self.
And you're always harder
but,
on
my
yourself.
younger self, yeah, was just where she was supposed to be at that time. And, the things and choices that she made got her here. So,
yeah. Trust in it. Trust in it.
Yeah. Trust in it. Yeah. Trust in the process. There's another one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also learn to say no. I'm so good at saying yes to everything. So
I think that's all sage advice right there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Very nice.
This is so much fun, you guys. Seriously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And, once again, I thank you for taking the time out of your evening and sitting down with us and having a great conversation. It's great to meet you. And I feel like I left with a new friend. And I say that sometimes, but yeah, there's something about you that just, makes me feel warm inside. You're just such a beautiful person. So I honestly feel like I made a new friend. So thank you.
You absolutely did make a new friend, and I did too. I feel that too. And I truly mean the invitation is open. I want to see you guys. So in person.
Yeah.
We'll take you up on that.
Love your work. Love you as a person. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
yeah.
Les.
The work is brilliant. And I really thank you for your time this evening. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a joy.
Thank you, guys.
Again, get out to the National Western Stock Show this month, where you can experience Maeve's work in person at the Coors Western Art Exhibit in Sale. It runs through January 22nd. And be sure to follow Maeve on Instagram at Maeve Eichelberger Studio and check out her website at maeveeichelberger.com. For the Tenant Podcast, I'm Todd Pearson.
And I'm Wes Brown.
Have a great week.